Chapter 2078. In the alliance of the 100 clans in the heaven realm, if one had the cultivation of the tribulation of emperors and had decent morals, one could become a clan elder. If one had the cultivation of the tribulation of emperors, one could become a law-enforcing clan elder. Yi Shang not only had the cultivation of the tribulation of emperors, but he was also a human sovereign. His combat ability far exceeded that of his peers. When he appeared in the heaven realm again, the 100 clans clan elder would naturally pay attention to him. Knight Sorrow was in a hurry to deal with divinity heretical because he had another problem. After his 3-attribute power of heaven and earth was cultivated to perfection, there was little room for improvement in the evil spirit world. Cultivation after the tribulation emperor level was mainly soul cultivation and one's own power of heaven and earth. It wasn't suitable in the evil spirit world. Knight Sorrow didn't move, and the others were waiting for orders. Knight Sorrow estimated that in half a year, he would be able to cultivate the space-time power of heaven and earth to perfection. However, it was a little late. He used close to a year to cultivate the space-time power of heaven and earth to perfection. The main reason was that while improving the space-time power of heaven and earth, he also split his attention and planned to take a step forward in the peerless attribute, breaking through the emperor level bottleneck and entering the emperor level. Knight Sorrow didn't really care about a peerless attribute emperor. However, the key was that the peerless attribute was related to the level of the taboo attribute. A mid-level taboo attribute and a high-level taboo attribute were completely different. The limitless attribute did not improve, and Knight Sorrow could not do anything about it. After all, this was a domain that he was not proficient in. Currently, the limitless attribute, which was a peak imperial emperor, was something that he had forcefully fused. Knight Sorrow also knew that it was extremely difficult. If this weakness could be broken so easily, Chen Huang would not have been stuck at the imperial emperor level for more than 8 epochs. Knight Sorrow was a calm person. He wasn't in a hurry even if he couldn't break through. Some things just had to be done naturally. Now that the 3-attribute power of heaven and earth had reached perfection, there was no need for Knight Sorrow's main body to go into seclusion. In order to prevent divinity heretical from harming others, Knight Sorrow asked Tianyu to put everyone into a spatial treasure. Then, his main body brought Tianyu to the natural array area of Annihilation Storm. "You're here," Wu Lingfei said when she saw Knight Sorrow's main body. "Yes, it's time to completely solve this problem. My true self and avatar will break through the array from 2 different directions. Tianyu, Auntie Fei, Yi Mei, you 3 will form 2 teams with your true self and avatar to block the other 2 directions. Your main task will be to block them. As long as you can block them for a moment, my true self and avatar will arrive. Remember, it's fine to be injured as the price, but you definitely can't let your life be threatened. Feather Monarch, Little Luo, the 2 of you don't have enough cultivation, so you can't fight against Supremacy Evil Spirit, but take these array discs. When you see Supremacy Evil Spirit appear, activate them and throw them. It'll be good if you can trap him for a while." Knight Sorrow took out some array discs and gave them to his 2 sons. As for the others, Knight Sorrow asked them to leave. After the arrangements were made, Knight Sorrow's main body and avatar began to break through the array. Wu Lingfei, Tianyu, and Yi Mei were fully focused on guarding the array. They couldn't let Supremacy Evil Spirit escape again. As Knight Sorrow's main body and avatar threw out the Holy Spirit stones, the Annihilation Storm's speed slowed down and its strength became lower and lower. At this moment, Supremacy Evil Spirit in the alternate space knew that he couldn't hide anymore. If this continued, the Annihilation Storm would stop and he wouldn't be able to hide in the alternate space. At that time, he would be caught like a turtle in a jar. Supremacy Evil Spirit didn't plan to hide anymore. He came out of the alternate space and charged towards Wu Lingfei's avatar, Tianyu's main body and Yi Mei's main body. This was currently the weakest area of the 9-domain world. Wu Lingfei's main body's ice sealing ability was very strong, so Supremacy Evil Spirit didn't want to collide with it. Supremacy Evil Spirit appeared in the west. Knight Sorrow received a message. Wu Lingfei's avatar had crushed Knight Sorrow's message crystal. Night Sorrow's main body flashed and flew towards the west. His avatar continued to throw out Holy Spirit stones, completely stopping the Annihilation Storm's natural array before flying towards Supremacy Evil Spirit. When Supremacy Evil Spirit appeared in the range of Wu Lingfei's soul power, Wu Lingfei used her Extreme Cold World. Yi Mei also used her illusory domain to join the Extreme Cold World. The three of them had practiced together before. Wu Lingfei's Extreme Cold World wouldn't reject Yi Mei's domain. Yi Xiaolua's main body and avatar dodged and arrived at the edge of Wu Lingfei's Extreme Cold World. Both of his hands were holding array discs. If Supremacy Evil Spirit wanted to escape from the edge and Wu Lingfei couldn't stop him, he would throw out the array discs. Supremacy Evil Spirit naturally sensed this scene. Black and red energy appeared on his body. Yin-Yang Destruction Domain burst forth and rushed towards Wu Lingfei's Extreme Cold World. He didn't have time to change direction. He knew that if he was slow, Night Sorrow would find him. At that time, he wouldn't be able to escape. After entering the range of Wu Lingfei's Extreme Cold World, Supremacy Evil Spirit's speed decreased. Wu Lingfei used all her strength to cast the Extreme Cold World. She wanted to slow down Supremacy Evil Spirit's speed and suppress his battle strength. Most new chapter. Last chapter. Rock Wing Slash. Tianyu, who was in the world of extreme cold, used his innate skill. A pair of azure pen wings appeared. Then, he cut through space and attacked Supremacy Evil Spirit. Wu Lingfei also used her extreme cold sword qi to cut the area Supremacy Evil Spirit was moving towards. Wu Lingfei, Tianyu, and Yi Mei all knew that Supremacy Evil Spirit was much stronger than them. It was unrealistic to fight it head-on. They could only use long-range energy attacks and control skills to stop Supremacy Evil Spirit from escaping. They could only control it until Night Sorrow arrived. Then, their mission would be completed. Those who block this supremacy will die. Supremacy Evil Spirit waved his battle blade and chopped forward. He didn't attack Wu Lingfei and the others. He wanted to open a path and leave quickly. He wanted to rush out, he didn't want to kill the enemies. Tianyu's body flickered, and he continuously used Rock Wing Slash to interfere with Supremacy Evil Spirit. Wu Lingfei flew back while maintaining the Extreme Cold World's envelopment on Supremacy Evil Spirit. Then, she continuously released Sword Qi. Yi Mei continuously released Soul Shock. She also transformed into her true body. Her 9 tails unceasingly lashed out, and energy began to entangle Supremacy Evil Spirit. But because the gap between the two sides was too big, Supremacy Evil Spirit's charge was not stopped. However, he couldn't break through the blockade of Wu Lingfei and the others. The entanglement continued. Wu Lingfei, Tianyu, and Yi Mei avoided direct contact with each other. They bombarded Supremacy Evil Spirit with their energy, restraining Supremacy Evil Spirit from breaking through the blockade. Supremacy Evil Spirit roared in a low voice. Then, his hair stood on end. The blade aura on his battle blade sharply increased, and he madly chopped forward. Tianyu couldn't dodge in time and was sent flying. He vomited blood from the shock. At this time, Yi Mei rushed forward. Her 9 tails unceasingly entangled Supremacy Evil Spirit. Along with continuous muffled sounds, Yi Mei's energy was shattered. Her body was also sent flying. Wu Lingfei touched her sword with her left hand. Drops of blood appeared on the sword. That was blood essence. Wu Lingfei activated her blood essence to increase her battle strength. Chapter 2079. Seeing Night Sorrow's arrival, Wu Lingfei's face lit up as she retreated. With Night Sorrow's arrival, there was no need for her to fight head-on. She couldn't handle Supremacy Evil Spirit. Similarly, Supremacy Evil Spirit was nothing in front of Night Sorrow. Hearing Night Sorrow's shout, Supremacy Evil Spirit's expression changed. He was most afraid of Night Sorrow catching up to him. Now that Night Sorrow was here, he had to think of a way to deal with this crisis. Supremacy Evil Spirit roared, and the energy around his body trembled. Then, a clone appeared. After Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone appeared, it charged towards Night Sorrow. At the crucial moment, Supremacy Evil Spirit made a choice. He chose to give up on his clone and use it to block Night Sorrow's pursuit while his main body fled. However, this was only Supremacy Evil Spirit's idea. Night Sorrow naturally wouldn't follow his plan. Yishang's real body flashed, using the space-time realm and void step to dodge the blockade of Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone. Then, he charged towards Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body. Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body was the key. Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body could break through and increase its level. Even if the clone escaped, it would not be a big problem. Night Sorrow could even ignore a clone that couldn't break through and increase its level. As long as Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone dared to charge towards the 9-domain world, Night Sorrow's 9-domain world would be able to kill it. Supremacy Evil Spirit was a little dumbfounded when he saw that Night Sorrow ignored his doppelganger and went straight for his main body. This was what he was most afraid of. Without his main body, he would have no future. Helpless, Supremacy Evil Spirit's clone could only chase after Night Sorrow to support his main body. The battle began. Night Sorrow's main body fought Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body and clone. Supremacy Evil Spirit, you are not my match. If you don't want to die, you can only submit. Night Sorrow waved his Samsara halberd. Every move he made exhausted Supremacy Evil Spirit. Dream on. This sovereign is the incarnation of the evil spirit world. How can I submit to you? Supremacy Evil Spirit roared. All right. If you want to die, then we have nothing to say. We can only end this war with the death of one side. Night Sorrow waved his Samsara halberd and attacked Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body continuously. He didn't care about Supremacy Evil Spirit's doppelgangers. Sovereign Evil Spirit's main body was constantly retreating, while his doppelganger was recklessly attacking, all for the sake of fighting for a chance for the main body to retreat. Damn it! Suddenly, Supremacy Evil Spirit cursed. Then, his doppelganger suddenly accelerated and entered the destructive energy storm that was cut apart by the cross formation. Then, he began to flee. He had the evil spirit origin in his body and discovered Night Sorrow's doppelganger that was rushing over at high speed. Supremacy Evil Spirit knew that if his doppelganger didn't escape now, when Night Sorrow's doppelganger arrived, he wouldn't be able to escape even if he wanted to. Both his main body and his doppelganger would be killed. Night Sorrow glanced at the direction where Supremacy Evil Spirit's doppelganger fled and helplessly shook his head. There wasn't enough time. If he had more time, his doppelganger would arrive and Supremacy Evil Spirit's doppelganger wouldn't be able to escape. With only Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body left, Night Sorrow began to exert his strength. Virtue energy supported the forbidden domain. Then, he continuously used spear arts and soul attacks. In just a moment, Supremacy Evil Spirit's head was pierced through by Night Sorrow's Samsara halberd. His spirit sea was shattered by Night Sorrow. At this time, a black pearl left Supremacy Evil Spirit's spirit sea and was about to escape. Want to run? Suppress. Night Sorrow fully suppressed the black pearl with his virtue domain and the support of the world's origin energy. After imprisoning it, Night Sorrow grabbed it. The evil spirit world's origin pearl. Supremacy Evil Spirit's main body had died in battle. The evil spirit world's origin pearl that he had on him naturally fell into Night Sorrow's hands. Others might not be able to suppress the world's origin, but Night Sorrow could. His virtue energy was very powerful and he also had the world's origin energy. Naturally, he was different from ordinary cultivators. Tightly holding the evil spirit world's origin pearl, Night Sorrow glanced at his doppelganger that had arrived. Then, his main body left. Night Sorrow sat on the teleportation array and went to the spatial passage between the 9-domain world and the evil spirit world. Then, he returned to the 9-domain world. Looking at the sky of the 9-domain world, Night Sorrow exerted strength with his left hand and crushed the evil spirit world's origin pearl. After crushing the evil spirit world's origin pearl, Night Sorrow received a notification from the 9-domain world's origin pearl. The 9-domain world's calamity had basically passed. The evil spirit world could no longer charge into the 9-domain world. With the origin pearl destroyed, the evil spirit world's level dropped. It would not be long before it was destroyed. The only thing that needed to be done was to prevent the evil spirits from invading the 9-domain world. Night Sorrow understood that the conflict between worlds had been resolved. The 9-domain world had gained the upper hand. However, the battle between cultivators had not ended. The evil spirit world still had the evil spirit lord's doppelganger and the evil spirit emperor. If they charged into the 9-domain world, they would still cause great damage. It could even be said that if the origin pearl was damaged, the evil spirit world could still rise from the ashes. However, Night Sorrow would not give them this opportunity. While Night Sorrow was thinking, the 9-domain origin pearl told Night Sorrow that it could no longer accompany Night Sorrow in conquering the evil spirit world. It had to absorb the evil spirit world's origin chi and advance to the 9-domain world's level. Night Sorrow released the 9-domain origin pearl, and it returned to the heaven-sealing Great Hall. After glancing at the heaven-sealing Great Hall, Night Sorrow entered the evil spirit world once again. When they arrived at the location of the battle, Night Sorrow met up with everyone and continued to talk about the origin pearl. In the clash between the two worlds, our 9-domain world had the upper hand. The rest is our problem. For us, only that evil spirit lord is a problem, Tianyu said. This time, it was my mistake again. At that time, it was the final stage of breaking the natural array. I could only draw out my main body. If my clone also came out to fight, then all the previous efforts to break the array would have been wasted. I thought that it was just a little bit of time and it wouldn't affect the outcome of the battle. But in fact, evil spirit lord's clone still escaped. He has the evil spirit world's origin pearl and knows some of my movements. This is something I didn't expect. Night Sorrow pointed out the areas where he had underestimated. 13th brother, the current situation is already very good. Evil Spirit Lord's main body has been killed by you, and he only has a clone left. He won't be able to make any progress. What big waves can he cause? Tianyu said. He didn't want to see Night Sorrow bear the responsibility. Yes. Not to mention my main body and clone, my 9-domain doppelgangers are guarding the spatial passageway. He doesn't dare to go out. If he goes out, I can kill him. If he doesn't go out, when the time is up, he will also disappear with the evil spirit world, Night Sorrow said. Then what do we do next? Yi Mei stood out and asked. You and Tianyu heal first. Then we will split into 2 teams and kill evil spirits in the evil spirit world. When we have killed enough of them, we will retreat. At that time, we will no longer care about the evil spirit world. Night Sorrow said his decision. Night Sorrow was in a hurry to raise his cultivation. After dealing with the hidden dangers in the evil spirit world, he would go to Tianhuang City and cultivate on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. That was the starting point of the Emperor's tribulation. Cultivating there would be twice the result with half the effort. Tianyu and Yi Mei's injuries weren't serious. They had just been hit by the energy impact. After half a month of healing, the two of them recovered. Then, Night Sorrow's main body and clone led the team and began to encircle the evil spirits in the evil spirit world. At this time, the 100 king tribes had already gathered in the demon imperial city. The old and new eras were interchanging. They had entered the last era of this reincarnation cycle. The demon-winged clan was preparing for the final battle. Chapter 2080. Mo Tianji had reached the sovereign emperor realm. The reason why she could cultivate so quickly was because she didn't have any bottlenecks. She could directly absorb resources to increase her cultivation. It could be said that her path was smooth. However, the most important thing for her was her final achievement. Currently, Jun Xuanji and Zhu Jilyun were the ones who decided her final height, especially Jun Xuanji. Jun Xuanji was the reincarnation of Mo Tianji's soul. His soul and body were perfectly compatible. If he could reach the sovereign realm, he would come looking for her after his memories were awakened. At that time, she would have many methods to use. She could use Jun Xuanji's clone as the main body and this body as a battle clone. However, there was no news of Jun Xuanji reaching the sovereign realm. She didn't sense anything either. This made Mo Tianji very helpless. In addition, Mo Tianji was also very concerned about Zhu Jiuyin's main body. Possessing the main body was completely different from possessing a clone. The main difference was the cultivation potential. Mo Tianji had already merged with Zhu Jiuyin's clone. Zhu Jiuyin's clone wasn't as talented as the main body. Although it was already good, it couldn't satisfy Mo Tianji. Mo Tianji had big ambitions. Without any news, Mo Tianji could only wait. Although she was anxious, she had some patience. Besides, she had to be patient. She couldn't go out with her current strength. Even with her sovereign realm cultivation, she didn't have the qualifications to do whatever she wanted in the celestial realm. After organizing her thoughts, Mo Tianji walked around the small city and entered the spatial treasure to cultivate again. Night Sorrow's main body and clone led their own teams to encircle and annihilate the evil spirits in the evil spirit world. However, they split into two teams. Night Sorrow was worried about their safety. Splitting into a few teams would increase their efficiency. However, what if they encountered the sovereign evil spirit's clone? Apart from him, no one could deal with the sovereign evil spirit. There would be heavy casualties. Night Sorrow wouldn't take such a risk. It didn't matter if the efficiency was lower. He didn't lack time. The fundamental problem was solved. Everyone was very relaxed. Every day, after the operation, they would chat happily. 13th brother, this is the battle of the 9 regions world's cultivators. If we can find help, it will be even easier. Lin Chuan and Long Jin are very anxious, Tianyu said. This is the tribulation of our 9 regions world, the tribulation of our people. It has nothing to do with anyone else, Night Sorrow said with a smile. There are restrictions. Otherwise, Brother 13 could have brought some of the void purple light snakes with you, and we wouldn't have been unable to catch him. He's just a coward. Yi Mei also cursed. When she transformed into her original form to fight, her tail was injured by the evil spirit sovereign, so she was extremely angry. It's nothing. All he can do is hide. Not to mention, he won't be able to hide for long. Once the tribulation is over, he will disappear into thin air. We'll fight for a while more before heading back, Night Sorrow said with a chuckle. With your 9 domain doppelgangers guarding the passage, the evil spirit realm won't be able to do anything. Wu Lingfei nodded. If that's the case, the 9 domains world will have to wait a little longer before it can officially enter the Great World level, Night Sorrow said. This was something that Night Sorrow felt a little dissatisfied about. Don't worry, we can wait. Time will pass quickly. It's nothing to a great world, Wu Lingfei persuaded Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded and looked at Tai Shu Yan. So many years have passed, and our 9 domains world doesn't have a successful diviner. What are they doing? Commander, we don't know if we have a diviner, but we haven't made any preparations. I'll go back and handle this matter now. Tai Shu Yan cupped her hands and her doppelganger left the camp. There's a problem with my arrangements. I didn't ask about this matter. Sorry. Night Sorrow said to Tai Shu Yan's main body. In the past, when we went to war, there were people who made arrangements for these things. This time, no one made any preparations, so Brother 13 thought that our world didn't have one, Tianyu said. Night Sorrow waved his hand and let everyone set up camp. He stood outside the camp and pondered. If there was a diviner who could divine the results, then they could kill Supremacy Evil Spirit. If they killed Supremacy Evil Spirit and Evil Spirit Emperor, then the tribulation of the 9 domains world would be over. The 9 domains world would enter the Great World level and begin to develop at a high speed. 3 days later, Tai Shu Yan brought 3 diviners. Currently, the cultivators of the 9 domains world haven't come into contact with the field of diviners. Fortunately, Tianji Tower's headquarters and branch palace have 2 diviners, and Taiqing Domain's Yi family has 1. At critical times, the old forces are still reliable. Now, one of you come out and perform a divination. I want to know the whereabouts of Supremacy Evil Spirit, Night Sorrow said to the 3 diviners. The Tianji Tower's diviner began the divination, but the image was very blurry. Next, the Yi family's diviner divined, and the image became clear. It was a destructive energy storm area, and there was a cutting array not far from it. CNB Original Chapter QVC Unspecified Currency $. Very good. I'll reward you with 100 years of cultivation in the 9 Domains World's Heaven Sealing Hall. You can enter at most 3 times, and you can arrange the time of entry yourself. Night Sorrow nodded to the Yi family's diviner. Thank you, Lord Patriarch. The Yi family's diviner bowed to Night Sorrow. All these years, I've spared no effort to support the rise of the forces of the 9 Domains world. However, at critical times, I have to be able to contribute to the 9 Domains world. Let's go. Night Sorrow led the team out after he finished speaking. Yu Yangyu and Xiang Tianding looked at each other. They knew that the Medicine Valley's development wasn't good. The Medicine Valley occupied a large amount of the 9 Domains world's cultivation talents and resources, but its actual ability was much worse than Tianji Tower's or Night Moon's dynasties. Yi Xiling also glanced at Lin Jingyi. She felt that Lin Jingyi's matter had affected Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, don't you think your words are a bit harsh? Yang Lei, who was beside Night Sorrow, asked. The 9 Domains world's development model itself has problems. Don't you think so? Night Sorrow looked at Yang Lei. 9th junior sister, 13 isn't just a disciple of the Medicine Valley, nor is he just the Yi family's patriarch. He's also the realm master of the 9 Domains world. He has to consider the development of the entire 9 Domains world. We don't need you to ask about this, Aoi said. After arriving at the destructive storm area, Night Sorrow smiled. I didn't expect this guy to still be hiding in this area. Very good, this time we'll kill him and end this once and for all. Brother 13, how do we fight this time? Tianyu asked. This time it's simple. In order to prevent our people from being attacked and suffering losses, Tianyu, you stay with the main group. If he attacks you, you put your people into your spatial treasure and protect yourselves with Anti-Fei and Yi Mei, Night Sorrow said. What about you? Sikong Chuyu asked worriedly. I'll send my doppelganger in to capture him. My main body will keep an eye on the entire area. Once he comes out, my soul power will lock onto him. He won't be able to escape. After Night Sorrow finished his arrangements, his doppelganger entered the spatial slicing array and began investigating. Chapter 2081. Night Sorrow's main body stayed at the center of the cross spacetime splitter array. His soul power was probing the area. As long as Sovereign Evil Spirit appeared, he could immediately chase after him. His main body was guarding while Night Sorrow's avatar wandered around the spacetime array. He began probing the destructive storm area. Wu Lingfei and the others were waiting. They knew that if Sovereign Evil Spirit was in this area, then the problem of calamity would be solved. The difference between Sovereign Evil Spirit's combat power and Night Sorrow's was too great. If Night Sorrow found him, then he would definitely be killed. Night Sorrow searched for a while and found Sovereign Evil Spirit in the circular area. Without the origin pearl of the Evil Spirit world, Sovereign Evil Spirit's probing power was not as strong as Night Sorrow's. Night Sorrow had discovered him, and only when he was very close did he discover him. He wanted to react, but it was already too late. After discovering his target, Night Sorrow waved the Blood Qilin Evil Slaying Spear and started attacking. Because Supremacy Evil Spirit's true body had been killed, his doppelganger's soul had been severely injured. His combat strength couldn't keep up. In just a moment, Night Sorrow's spear pierced through his divine sea. Sovereign Evil Spirit wanted to submit at the last moment, but Night Sorrow's Blood Qilin Evil Punishing Spear had already pierced his spirit sea. It was his soul fluctuations that had transmitted to Night Sorrow's spirit sea. When I told you to submit, you didn't submit. When you wanted to submit, you didn't have the chance. This is fate. Knight Sorrow helplessly shook his head. Glancing at Sovereign Evil Spirit's corpse, Knight Sorrow left the array area. The battle is over. Now the array masters are working here. Take the array disc and slowly retreat along the array area. Take back all the Holy Spirit stones. It wasn't easy for our 9-domain world to accumulate this much wealth. Half of it is mine. Knight Sorrow ordered the array masters. Without the Overlord Evil Spirit, there won't be much danger. Anti-Fae, Tianyu, Night Beauty, you guys lead a team and kill 2 more Evil Spirit Emperors. Based on my estimations, there should be 2 more Evil Spirit Emperors. After killing them, find me at the exit. After saying that, Knight Sorrow left. Seeing Knight Sorrow leave, Wu Lingfei ordered the teams to split up. Shi, Tianyu, and Yi Mei led the 3 teams and set off. Wu Lingfei's team was mainly made up of disciples of the Medicine Valley. After a day of fighting and camping, the higher-ups of the Medicine Valley gathered together. Peak Masters, last time Knight Sorrow talked about the sex problems, but we didn't pay attention to it. In fact, it was really inappropriate. The development of Medicine Valley today was all thanks to Knight Sorrow. Relying on Knight Sorrow's name and relying on Knight Sorrow's resources, but is this fair to the other forces? Yu Yangyu's eyes swept around. No one said anything. Yu Yangyu sighed. Because of Knight Sorrow, no one fought with us. Last time, the disciples of Medicine Valley fought with the disciples of Taiching Domain's Yi family, and the Yi family backed down without saying anything. But is this really appropriate? After saying that, Yu Yangyu looked at Bluestone Peak Master, Dai Tongnian. Grand Elder, Tongnian planned to apologize for what happened last time, but the Yi family has already left, Dai Tongnian said. Knight Sorrow is the Yi family's patriarch, but everyone, look at the Yi family's style and the rules of the Night Moon dynasty. What right does our Medicine Valley have to be superior to others? Not to mention all of you here, the elders, guardians, and enforcers below, which one of them doesn't flaunt their power? This will only ruin the Medicine Valley's reputation and fortune. Yu Yangyu's expression was colder. He was a little angry. Medicine Valley had indeed changed a little. He thought that the Peak Masters could handle some things themselves, but there was no result. There must be a limit to things. Quickly come up with some development plans and let Knight Sorrow see them. The thing people are most afraid of is disappointment, Xiang Tianding said. Wu Lingfei, who was patrolling the camp, nodded in satisfaction when she heard the conversation in Medicine Valley. She was also aware of the Medicine Valley situation. 2 months later, the last evil spirit emperor was killed, and the 9-domain world's tribulation was completely over. The evil spirit world began to dissipate, and the 9-domain world began to absorb it. Several teams also returned to the spatial tunnel. Knight Sorrow brought everyone back to the 9-domain world. Very good. Everyone has worked hard this time. In addition, the Heaven Sealing Great Hall can also assist in cultivation, just like the Samsara Palace, Heaven Battling Hall, and Heaven and Earth Pavilion in other worlds. As for how to arrange the time, I hope you can come up with a reasonable plan. The Heaven Sealing Great Hall can accommodate 3 people to cultivate at the same time, which is equivalent to 100 years. You can arrange for 300 years of cultivation time, Knight Sorrow said to the group of people. After listening to Knight Sorrow's words, everyone's face was full of surprise. This was good news, and it was good news for cultivators. UJ6 starter, Marshal Uncle Tai Shu, passed down the order to cancel the certification of the title below King. Rank 8 cultivators who don't have a title can be certified once in 100 years, Knight Sorrow said to Tai Shu Yen. Commander, don't worry. I will arrange it well. Tai Shu Yen nodded. After that, Knight Sorrow planned to leave. The matter had come to an end. At this time, Gong Xian came to Knight Sorrow's side. 13. During this time, I have been the Valley Master of the Medicine Valley. I have not done well enough, and many problems have arisen. I plan to deal with some things before I step down. However, I hope that you can be present when the time comes and support me. Senior, can the two of us go to a restaurant for a drink and then talk slowly? Night Sorrow looked at Gong Xian and asked with a smile. Of course. Gong Xian nodded. Night Sorrow and Gong Xian wanted to go for a drink, and the other disciples naturally followed. Yang Lei and Aoi also followed, and they went to a restaurant near the heaven-ceiling Great Hall. Junior, are you a little disappointed? Gong Xian asked after drinking a glass of wine. How should I put it? A little. There is no problem with our Taishan Peak. The disciples are strict with themselves, and we did not randomly accept disciples. However, the other peaks of the Medicine Valley are too much. How many disciples do they have? Is there any room for the other forces in the Eastern Xian domain to develop? The previous super forces, what about now? The Nanda sect was an ally of our Medicine Valley, but they were forced to become the Nanda clan. What about the Thunder Rumbling sect? Now that they have closed their doors, the Holy Light religion has not made any noise. In fact, they exist in name only. But does everyone know? Nan Liyue, Lei Bao, Lei Zheng, and Ho Jian have all been following me, fighting outside? I really didn't know before. Lei Bao and the others were afraid of making things difficult for me, so they didn't say anything. Now, when I see them, I feel ashamed. Night Sorrow took a sip of wine and said, 13, I'm sorry. All these years, we have only been managing the matters of the Taishan Peak. We have not asked about the matters of the other peaks. We have made things difficult for you. Hua Nan said, his face full of guilt. Since the matter has arisen, then we'll deal with it. If we don't change, then there's nothing I can do. I have the responsibility to take care of senior brother, but I don't have the responsibility to support this large sex outrageous acts. Yi Shan exhaled. Eldest senior, 13 is in a difficult position. Aoi said. Okay, let me know if there is anything. Night Sorrow got up and left the restaurant. At the door, Night Sorrow met Yi Xiling, Tang Qianqian, and Lin Jingyi. Chapter 2082. Night Sorrow didn't want to communicate with Yi Xiling and the others because he had a piece of information in his hand. It was the information he commissioned Tianji Tower to investigate after he left the Medicine Valley's apprenticeship ceremony. It was a list of the families of the Medicine Valley's disciples. Yi Xiling and the others' families were on it, which made him very disappointed. Seeing Night Sorrow come out with his two wives, Yi Xiling nodded. After cupping his hands in return, Night Sorrow left, leaving Yi Xiling, Tang Qianqian, and Lin Jingyi in a daze. None of them were low-level cultivators, so they all had the ability to investigate. Yi Xiling knew that Night Sorrow must have known they were coming. At this time, when Night Sorrow left, it was obvious that he didn't want to communicate too much. This was also something that had never happened before. After hesitating for a moment, Yi Xiling still entered the restaurant with her two disciples. Yu Yangyu's 10 disciples were all inside. Seeing Yi Xiling come in with her two disciples, Gong Xian nodded and gestured for Yi Xiling to sit down. Our 0-inch Night Sorrow, why did you leave so soon after sitting down? Yi Xiling asked. The situation in the Medicine Valley is very serious. Everyone knows this. 13 was also a little angry just now. Who took over the Southern Dipper sect? Which family is suppressing the Thunder Rumbling sect? What about the Holy Light family? You must know that the Thunder Rumbling sect has Emperor Lei Bao, the Southern Dipper sect has half-step Emperor Nan Liyue, and the Holy Light religion has Lord of Ho Jian. They have been following 13 everywhere. What right does our Medicine Valley have to suppress them? Gong Xian looked at Tang Qianqian and Lin Jingyi because their families were among them. It's using 13's face to beat people. What is this? Shi Tianlin glanced at Lin Jingyi and stood up because he was dissatisfied. As Shi Tianlin stood up, Hua Nan and the others also stood up. The 13 disciples of Yu Yangyu of Taishan Peak were always on the same side. We'll talk about this when we return to the sect. Some things have made things difficult for 13. As the senior brother of the Valley Master, I feel very bad. Gong Xian also stood up and left the restaurant with his junior brother. There are only so many feelings between people. In the past, Night Sorrow was very respectful to me and to all of you. But now, it was squandered away. Yi Xiling glanced at Tang Qianqian and Lin Jingyi, then turned and left. She knew that there would be a big disturbance in the Medicine Valley. If it was handled well, then it would be fine. If it was not handled well, then it would be a big problem. Night Sorrow returned to the castle in the sky. He planned to have some peace and quiet. Besides, Gong Xian said that he was expected to be present when the Medicine Valley was dealing with the problem. Then he must go. Gong Xian was his respected senior. 13. It will be over soon. Don't think too much about it. Yang Lei and Night Sorrow's other wives came. Lin Piaomiao was also there. She could not participate in the 9-domain world's tribulation, but she had been in the castle in the sky. Ninth senior sister, look at this. You won't say that. Night Sorrow took out the information given to him by Tianji Tower and handed it to Yang Lei. Yang Lei and the others took a look. As they read, Yang Lei and Aoi's faces became ugly. There were a lot of things recorded in it. The Southern Dipper sect, Thunder sect, and Holy Light Temple were bullied badly. In addition, the Free and Unfettered sect had already withdrawn from the Eastern Profound Domain. This is too much. Yang Lei said angrily. It's difficult to deal with. I'm a disciple of the Medicine Valley. If it's too serious, it will hurt our relationship. Am I supposed to support Nan Liyue, Ho Jian, Lei Bao, and the others to fight back? Night Sorrow smiled bitterly. It's just that we're giving them too much face. This time, eldest senior brother is going to hold a sect meeting. We'll go back and participate and see what these bastards have to say. If they're not satisfied, then it's simple. Night Sorrow, inform the 8-Dragon Cauldron to seal off Danding Cliff. Have Chiyue order the Taishian Peak to seal off. Have Nan Liyue, Ho Jian, Lei Zheng, and Lei Bao take back their territories. Yang Lei said. Isn't this too radical? Aoi hesitated for a moment and looked at Lin Piaomiao, Datura, and the others. Don't be radical. Those shitty clans should be dealt with. Apart from Uncle Master Duan's Cloud Sea Peak and Tai Xian Peak, the disciples of the Medicine Valley have their own principles. The disciples of the North Pole Peak, Uncle Master Yan's Cloud Sea Peak and Tai Xian Peak should be disciplined. Which one of them isn't too much? Yang Lei was very angry. I'll think about it and see what's the most appropriate way to deal with it. It's best if it doesn't hurt our reputation. Night Sorrow sighed. After sighing, Night Sorrow suddenly smiled helplessly. What's wrong? Lin Piaomiao saw that something was wrong with Night Sorrow. Eldest senior brother went to Danding Cliff and communicated with the 8-Dragon Cauldron. He hopes to temporarily seal off Danding Cliff. I can't embarrass eldest senior brother, so I've already informed the 8-Dragon Cauldron to seal off Danding Cliff. Night Sorrow said. Eldest senior brother is angry. I guess no one remembers eldest senior brother's temper after all these years. Back then, how many people knew about eldest senior brother's domineering attitude on the sex arena? Aoi said. She still remembered the scene where Gong Xian fought with Chu Lingxiao for her. See. Other than our Taishian Peak, what other power does Medicine Valley have? Yang Lei snorted coldly. At this time, the Medicine Valley was shaken. First, Danding Cliff was suddenly sealed off, and no one could cultivate there. The Taishian Peak's Peak Master announced in July that the mountain would be sealed off, and no one below the Taishian Peak would be allowed to visit the mountain. The Medicine Valley's elders and protectors, as long as they were from Taishian Peak, were all sent back to Taishian Peak. Because of this, many of the Medicine Valley's higher-ups wanted to see Yu Yangyu. However, Yu Yangyu was no longer at Danding Peak. He had returned to Taishian Peak. He was also from Taishian Peak, and was the former Peak Master of Taishian Peak. The other manager, Xiang Tianding, also didn't want to see anyone. The Tianxian World's Tianding Gate in the Medicine Valley was strictly self-disciplined. There was nothing wrong with it, and he didn't want to participate in the current situation. The higher-ups of Medicine Valley who couldn't find Yu Yangyu and Gong Xian went to find Chu Lingxiao, who was the deputy valley master. It's a big deal. Before I came back, I had a chat with my cousin and her husband, Mo Chen. What happened in the past few years? Chu Lingxiao continued to talk about the misdeeds of the various peaks, as well as the suppression of the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light sect. No one responded to Chu Lingxiao's words. I just want to ask, without Grand Elder Yi, which disciple or family of your disciple dared to provoke the Thunder Rumbling sect? To suppress the Southern Dipper sect? Emperor Lei Bao, Lord of Heaven Ho Jian, and Lord of Heaven Li Yue could crush them. Now that things have come to this, I have nothing to say. The Valley Master is very angry, and Grand Elder Lu won't easily show up because his disciple's face was ruined, Chu Lingxiao said. You don't want to talk? Then I'll say, if you don't give me an explanation, Danding Cliff will be useless in the future. When the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light sect attack, the Taixian Peak won't care. Since you dared to do this, then you'll have to bear the consequences. Yan Beibei stood up and left the conference hall. Chapter 2083. Sigh. Rome wasn't built in a day, so this matter still needs to be resolved. The main thing is everyone's attitude. Come to me after you've thought it through, and I'll go to Grand Elder Lu and the Valley Master. You don't mind, but I don't want to see the Medicine Valley torn apart. Of course, even if you're all wiped out, the legacy of the Medicine Valley won't be lost. Hua Yunpeng stood up and left the hall. The meeting continued. Those who stayed were responsible people. If they didn't show their attitude, they would be the next unlucky ones. After a while, the group reached a consensus. They asked Chu Lingxiao to call Hua Yunpeng to show their sincerity. Then I'll go and invite Grand Elder Lu and the Valley Master. This matter needs to be resolved. Hua Yunpeng stood up and went to Taixian Peak. Taixian Peak was sealed off, but if the Grand Elder wanted to enter the mountain, the disciples guarding the mountain gate couldn't stop him. Hua Yunpeng found that although the mountain was sealed off, Taixian Peak was still very lively. The disciples were cultivating, and the Taixian Peak even had its own teleportation array. It was as if they were doing their own thing. Hua Yunpeng knew that if the problem wasn't resolved, the Taixian Peak would remain in this state. He wasn't trying to scare people by sealing off the mountain. The Taixian Peak could develop on its own. Besides, everyone knew that the Medicine Valley was famous mainly because of Night Sorrow and Taixian Peak. More than 2/3 of the experts in the Medicine Valley came from Taixian Peak. In the bamboo grove, Hua Yunpeng saw Yu Yangyu, Gong Xian, and the others. Yu Yangyu, Gong Xian, and the others didn't avoid meeting him. After Hua Yunpeng sat down, he told them about the attitude and sincerity of the other peak masters and elders. If that's the case, then let's have a sect meeting to discuss this. If it doesn't work out, then I'll go into seclusion at Taixian Peak. Gong Xian, inform Night Sorrow and your 2 junior sisters to come back. This matter has to be resolved, Yu Yangyu said to Gong Xian. Gong Xian personally went to the city in the sky and invited Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Aoi to the Medicine Valley. All the higher-ups of the Medicine Valley were present in the conference hall, and some protectors were also standing outside the hall. Night Sorrow didn't sit on the Grand Elder's seat. He casually sat beside his senior brothers and senior sisters. This made everyone in the Medicine Valley understand that what Night Sorrow really cared about was the Taixian Peak. Nearly 1,000 years had passed, and the Taixian Peak was the most outstanding one. I've mentioned it to you before, but you didn't care. Now that you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Gong Xian stood up. After a moment of silence, Chu Lingxiao stood up and said, "You don't want to talk about it? Then I'll talk about it. The Medicine Valley has been developing rapidly over the years, but I'm still one of the 3 disciples of the Medicine Valley. Disciples are forbidden from randomly accepting disciples. So far, There are only 37 disciples under me. Let's talk about the Chu family. 1,000 years ago, the Chu family wasn't a nameless family. There have always been disciples of the Medicine Valley, and some of them are even by Grand Elder Ye's side. In the past 1,000 years, the Chu family has expanded some businesses, but our territory has only increased by a small city. We're willing to withdraw from this small city. Senior Brother Chu, you're exaggerating. Any power or family has to develop in 1,000 years. The Chu family is doing well, and so is Chu Ning. Knight Sorrow nodded to Chu Ling Xiao. He knew the Chu family's character. Thank you for your affirmation, Grand Elder. What about you? A person must have strength of character. Chu Ling Xiao cupped his hands towards Yi Shang and sat down. Then, some of the higher-ups of the Medicine Valley stood up and talked about their own situation. However, those who could stand up were all upright and disciplined people. The rest of them were a little vague. Gong Xian waved his hand and stood up with 2 stacks of information in his hands. Since none of you are willing to talk, then I'll do it. For the past 1,000 years, some disciples of the Medicine Valley have been accepting disciples. Some of the people here have thousands of disciples under them. What's wrong with that? Do you want to spread your reputation and inheritance? You're not even a king. In the current 9 domains world, what kind of reputation and inheritance do you have? After scolding, Gong Xian looked at the peak masters and elders of the Medicine Valley. 13. Speaking of which, I'm not suitable to be the Valley Master. Because I've always been concerned about the harmony of the sect, I've always been strict with my juniors and the disciples of the Taishan Peak. I've always been kind to others, but it's useless. Some families didn't have many people 1,000 years ago, but now they expanded without restraint and became a super family in the blink of an eye. But do they have a foundation? Do they have an emperor or a king? Don't keep quiet. I'm talking about you. Don't you feel embarrassed? Gong Xian roared in the end. Well said. Gong Xian, please continue. Hua Yunpeng nodded to Gong Xian. All this time, I've been working hard on my own cultivation and didn't pay too much attention to the details of the development of the Medicine Valley. I thought that the peak masters and elders could manage their disciples well, but looking at the information in my hands, I'm heartbroken. The Medicine Valley has changed. Of these 2 books, one is about the situation of the high-level disciples of the Medicine Valley, and the other is about the development of some high-level families. Please take a look. Gong Xian handed the information to Hua Yunpeng and then began to pass it around. However, some people just passed it around because they were among them. V3 After reading it, no one said anything because the situation was very serious. The Medicine Valley has Knight Sorrow, who can protect the Medicine Valley from falling. However, the Thunder Rumbling sect also has an emperor, and there are also people fighting outside. The same goes for the Southern Dipper sect and the Holy Light religion. You have the face to rob other people's territory. Who do you think you are? How many resources did Knight Sorrow get back? Is it something we should do? Do we owe you? Helping senior brother is our personal feelings. It's none of your business. Yang Lei's fiery temper was somewhat uncontrollable. A few days ago, some people blamed our Taishan Peak for closing the mountain. If our Taishan Peak wants to close the mountain, who can stop us? You squandered Master's reputation, but our Taishan Peak is not willing to do that. Using Master's reputation to rob the territory of Master's brothers and sisters, aren't you afraid of being poked in the back? July stood up. Knight Sorrow, the matter has already happened. We have to find a way to solve it. What do you think? The great elder of the Medicine Valley, who hadn't shown up for a long time, entered the main hall and found a place to sit down on the side of Taishan Peak. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands toward the great elder and then closed his eyes to think. Originally, I didn't intend to care about these things, but since I'm here at the sect assembly, I'll share some of my views. First of all, I think that if sects and families want to develop and rise, they need to develop their foundation and level. Unlimited development of the number of people and territory is too superficial. It's like a building on the beach, it will collapse with a gust of wind. From today onwards, the Medicine Valley will not be attacked. I will no longer care about anything in the Medicine Valley. The official document of the Realm Master will soon be issued by the Commander-in-Chief's office. You should first see if the territory that you once occupied can be defended. I, Night Sorrow, have always been cultivating morality. It's impossible for me to protect anyone and bully others. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 2084. Since Grand Elder Yi has made such a decision, won't the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light Temple attack the Medicine Valley's territory? An elder asked. If you're afraid of a fight now, then don't occupy it in the first place. Don't tell me I'm supposed to be your guard. Don't think that I'm being calculative with you. I can afford the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light Temple's territory. Just say the word, and I can make the Southern Dipper sect, the Thunder Rumbling sect, and the Holy Light Temple withdraw from the Eastern Xian domain. They'll live better than you. But let me tell you, one day, the Medicine Valley will only be left under the protection of me, Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow looked at the elder he didn't know and was a little angry. There are no disciples in the Medicine Valley who are afraid of a fight. Get out. Yu Yangyu's sleeves shook, and the elder was shaken out of the meeting hall. Grand Elder Yi, are you trying to cut ties with the Medicine Valley? Lin Jingyi stood up and said. Shut up. I've been giving in to you in the past because you're a pitiful person. Who do you think your Lin family is? You dare to occupy the Thunder Rumbling sect's territory. If you say any more nonsense, I'll kill you without any guilt. Yang Lei pulled out her sword and pointed it at Lin Jingyi. Yi Shang didn't say anything. He didn't remember there being a Lin family in the past. But now, the Lin family was very famous in the Eastern Xian region because of their large numbers. In addition, there were some detailed records in the Celestial Peak Tower. One of them had happened in Bamboo Garden City. In Bamboo Garden City, the cultivators who passed by the Valiant Bravery Memorial Archway in Bamboo Garden Village were very respectful. Those who rode on demon beasts would get off on foot, and those who rode on beast carriages would get off. However, the Lin family's disciples didn't want to. This angered the Yi family, and a conflict broke out. MB, Old 9. Yu Yangyu shook his head at Yang Lei. Lin Jingyi, you better behave yourself today. Let me tell you, no one will give you face anymore. Yang Lei looked at Lin Jingyi and threw a sentence at her before sitting down. I've been asleep for 700 years, and you've been messing around for these 700 years. I, Night Sorrow, have an ancestral home in Bamboo Garden Village, and your Lin family almost destroyed it. I don't mind, but I'll think about it. If your Lin family doesn't even give face to my Yi family, will you give face to others? I, Night Sorrow, have always respected the martial uncles, senior brothers and sisters of the Medicine Valley, but what have you done? Do as you see fit. July, Ning Yun, come to Sky City later. Night Sorrow stood up and left with Yang Lei and Aoi. The road ahead is up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. Yu Yangyu led the people from Taishian Peak out of the meeting hall. After half a day, the Commander-in-Chief of the 9 Regions World announced Night Sorrow's Realm Lord Order. The Realm Lord Order was written by Night Sorrow himself. It was about his own requirements and arrangements. He wouldn't participate in or interfere with any power struggle within the 9 Regions world, but because of his background, he would protect Pill Cauldron Mountain and Night Moon's Imperial Court. As for Sky City, he didn't mention it. Whoever had the ability could fight it. The key was who had the ability to fight it, and who had the ability to do so. After issuing the Realm Lord Order, Night Sorrow went to the God-Slaying Team's base in 9 Regions City. When Night Sorrow arrived, the members of the God-Slaying Team gathered together. Looking at the brothers in front of him, Night Sorrow bowed. Ho Jian, Liu, Lei Bao, Lei Zheng, it was I, Night Sorrow, who didn't handle things properly and let the Nanda sect, Thunder Rumbling sect, and Holy Light Temple be suppressed. Captain, you think too much. The Nanda clan doesn't fight. It's fine as long as they can maintain their inheritance, Nan Liu said with a smile. It's my responsibility to let the Nanda sect become the Nanda clan. It's the responsibility of the Medicine Valley. If the Nanda clan has any ideas, you can tell me. I'll make some appropriate compensation, Night Sorrow said. Captain, every power has a mix of good and bad members. There are always black sheep. Last time at the Medicine Valley's disciple recruitment ceremony, Nan Kong of the Nanda clan is an example, Nan Liu said. Captain, we didn't say these things because we didn't think it was a big deal. With pressure comes motivation. Now the Thunder Rumbling sect has king and many holy kings. In essence, they have improved a lot, Lei Bao said with a smile. It's the same for Holy Light Temple. I told them that the size of the territory and the number of disciples are not the key to measuring the level of a sect. The key is the foundation and level of the members. Ho Jian said to Night Sorrow. When they heard about the Realm Master's order, they knew what was going on. In fact, they really didn't mind. You're talking about compensation. You're treating us brothers as outsiders. If there really is a crisis of annihilation and we really can't handle it, we'll tell you, because you can shelter us from the wind and rain, Lei Zheng said with a smile. Thank you for understanding me, brothers. I have nothing else to say, Night Sorrow said with a sigh. Night Sorrow stayed in 9 Regions City and didn't leave. Then, more news came through the channels of Tianji Tower. These years, Tianji Tower had been developing, but not in the area of power. Instead, they focused on the elites. The various families of Medicine Valley members had taken the initiative to give up their territory and apologize to the Nanda clan, Thunder clan, and Holy Light Temple. Without the support of Night Sorrow and Medicine Valley, these families were *T. If they wanted to fight, they could only take the beating. The reason was there. Medicine Valley's Mountain Gate wouldn't be attacked, and Night Sorrow wouldn't fight. However, the Nanda clan had Heavenly Lord Nan Liu, the Holy Light Temple had Heavenly Lord Ho Jian, and the Thunder clan was even more ruthless. They already had Emperor Lei Bao and Heavenly Lord Lei Zheng. Although the Medicine Valley had Xiang Tianding in addition to Night Sorrow, there were still strong people in the god-slaying team. If Night Sorrow didn't interfere, Nan Liu, Ho Jian, Lei Bao, and Lei Zheng would fight for Emperor without a problem. Besides, Xiang Tianding wouldn't help the evildoers. Therefore, the families that were good at fighting for territory weren't stupid. They knew that if they took the initiative, they could still save some face. The patriarch and elders of the Lin family found Lin Jingyi and asked how to deal with it. Lin Jingyi was originally an orphan. Later, she was found by her family. She should have found her family on her own. Then, the Lin family began to develop. Lin Jingyi threw a tantrum at the people from her family. She asked the family to only keep the necessary areas and return the rest to the Thunder clan. The movement in the eastern Xian domain was very big. It could be said that there was a big reshuffle in hundreds of years. Many of the members supported the reshuffling this time. Those who were affected were only the selfish elders and guardians. The upper echelons and ordinary disciples who truly had the Medicine Valley's best interests at heart, that is, the true cultivators, were not affected much. Night Sorrow received the news but didn't say anything. He hoped that the 9-domain world would have a good environment for development. Currently, the forces in the 9-domain world were very self-disciplined. Only the Medicine Valley was barely satisfactory. After this was settled, the problem wouldn't be big. A month later, the reshuffle was over. The Nanda clan, the Thunder clan, and the Holy Light sect, who didn't want to take over the territory, took back the territory after receiving the notice from Lei Bao and the others. After the reshuffle, Hua Yunpeng, Yu Yangyu, the Great Elder, and Gong Xian came to see Night Sorrow. They told him about the changes in the Medicine Valley. Night Sorrow was very satisfied with the result. Chapter 2085. In other words, Night Sorrow was very disappointed in them and didn't want to have anything to do with them anymore. Night Sorrow still understood the principle of staying away from a petty person. After looking up some information, Night Sorrow knew that Tang Qianqian and Lin Jingyi had some fundamental problems. Some people, some things, if you miss them, you miss them. There will be no more interactions. Lin Jingyi will no longer exist in his world, Lin Jingyi said after leaving Nine Regions City. Senior sister knows that you have always liked him, but back then, you thought that he was too young and his cultivation was too low. He wasn't good enough for you. After you kicked him out, you kicked yourself out of his world. Alright. It's true that you want to improve yourself and develop your family, but we both took the wrong path, Tang Qianqian said. You really don't want to see him? Xue Shi, who was sitting with Night Sorrow, asked with a smile. No. By the way, how's your Silver Devil family? I haven't asked about it all these years, Night Sorrow said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, it's declined. Currently, only Yilingxi and I have the bloodline of the Silver Devil family. Hehe, would you be willing to let Yilingxi continue the Silver Devil family? There's no point in talking about it. Everything is fine now, and that's enough. Xue Shi smiled. You're right, but it's up to the child to make her own choice. Also, I'm sorry that I haven't cared enough about you all these years. Don't just focus on cultivating, Night Sorrow said to Xue Shi. I don't have any friends, so when you're cultivating, I'm cultivating to pass the time. Look at my cultivation now, isn't it great? Xue Shi showed her cultivation. I just want you to live a happy life. Nothing else is important. Maybe we weren't perfect at the beginning, but I really love you now, just like everyone else, said Yishan. You're right. Xue Shi sat beside Night Sorrow and leaned on Night Sorrow. I'm very happy now. I have a husband who loves me and a son who's capable. It would be even better if we could have a few more children. Night Sorrow smiled and didn't say anything else. He knew that Xue Shi was really happy now. The nine-domain world's tribulation was officially over, and the evil spirit world dispersed, becoming nourishment for the nine-domain world, nourishment for its ascension to a greater world. After everything was settled, Night Sorrow also planned to leave. He could not ignore the matters of the celestial realm. He still had a lot of things to take care of. City Lord Taishu, let's not talk about the past. From now on, the Nine Regions world will develop normally. There are some things that you will have to worry about. Before Night Sorrow left, he first went to find Taishu Yan, Yun Tianlong, Yi Linghuan, and the others. Following which, Night Sorrow led the god-slaying squad to Starmoon City. In Starmoon City, Night Sorrow was stunned when he saw the green-clothed youth. That was because that was the aura of a golden body Holy Spirit. I'm a golden body Holy Spirit. After eating the pill refined by the heavenly Tao flower, my body has been reborn, said the golden body Holy Spirit, who was already a peak imperial emperor. Very good, that's great. Seeing the golden body Holy Spirit's current appearance, Night Sorrow was very happy. He knew that the golden body Holy Spirit's previous life was the virtuous king. In this life, Night Sorrow hoped that he could live a better life. After Night Sorrow met Lu Qi, he paid a visit to the Qing Emperor. Master, disciple has been busy and did not come to pay a visit. Master, please don't mind. Seeing the Qing Emperor, Night Sorrow felt a little apologetic. He knew that the Qing Emperor had invested a lot of effort in him. The fact that he had only taken in 2 disciples in his lifetime showed that there was a problem. Master understands you. Master was just like you when he was young. Naturally, it takes time to conquer the world. When you are done and have time, come and accompany Master for tea. Of course, Master might go out one day. You should know that Master is the Emperor. The road is still very long, the Qing Emperor said with a smile. After chatting with the Qing Emperor for a while, Night Sorrow left. He was not worried about Starmoon City. Lu Qi liked this place and was willing to help Night Sorrow look after this place. After Night Sorrow left, Lu Qi appeared at the Qing Emperor's residence. He was anxious to confirm one thing, and that was Night Sorrow's cultivation. When Night Sorrow came to find him, he did not pay attention. After Night Sorrow left, he vaguely felt that Night Sorrow was an Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator. After arriving at the Night Moon Villa of the Misty Dynasty, Night Sorrow led the members of the God-slaying team to rest. Everyone was tired during this period of time. Moreover, the members had been separated for a while. They had just arrived and needed to gather. Night Sorrow, you have matured. Lin Piaomiao came to the waterside pavilion and pulled Night Sorrow to sit down. Then, she brewed a pot of tea. Sister Xian Er, why do you say that? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. In the past, you were emotional and lacked rationality. You did things based on your emotions. If the Medicine Valley continues on its original path, you will not be able to support it in the future. Cutting off the rotten branches and leaves may be a little painful, but the tree can still grow normally, Lin Piaomiao said. Then, Lin Piaomiao told Night Sorrow some things about her era. Her family was unbearable. She watched as her family declined bit by bit. The times were actually like sand being washed away by waves. It is a good thing to change now. It is better than going out of control in the future. Some people in the Medicine Valley think that since you were born in the Medicine Valley, you should do anything for them. They can be lawless because they have no bottom line, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. It was actually quite difficult to make this decision because I was afraid that Master and Senior Brothers would be unhappy. It is not that I, Night Sorrow, forgot my roots just because I am doing better. It is just that some people have crossed the line to the point where they can no longer restrain themselves. Night Sorrow sighed. This is the bad side that you see. You also have to pay attention to the good side. How about our Yi family, Night Moon Dynasty? Their strength is recognized as the #1 force in the 9 regions world. They are also the most famous, but they never bully others. Tianji Tower is the same. These years, Tianji Tower has been very self-disciplined. They focus on increasing the strength of their members instead of using connections to develop their forces. This is the good side, Lin Piaomiao said. She felt that the 9 regions world was not bad. Although there were some incidents, the overall situation was very stable and the development was very healthy. Night Sorrow nodded. He was not disappointed in the 9 regions world because of what happened in the Medicine Valley. It was just a one-sided matter. Night Sorrow, you might not know. Now, Tianhuang City is not peaceful. The Demon Wing clan often comes to challenge us. Now, they like to play gentlemen's battles, Lin Piaomiao said. What do you mean? I don't really understand. Night Sorrow was a little confused. It is the battle situation. A few days ago, an emperor of the Demon Wing clan came to challenge us. We could only send our emperor. But because we were not strong enough, 2 of us were killed. Then, the emperor of the Demon Wing clan retreated, leaving us a bunch of disgusting people. Lin Piaomiao said something that Night Sorrow did not know. Chapter 2086. You don't have any other ideas, do you? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow seriously. She knew that Night Sorrow was a warmonger deep in his bones. It's not that I have any other ideas. The Nirvana Ocean Bridge is where I cultivate. How can I cultivate if they come to challenge me so often? So, I plan to block the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. If they come, I'll fight. If they don't, I'll cultivate. Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's true. Your soul power has fused into that world. Cultivating your force there is indeed twice the result with half the effort. You can't give up on that place. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She knew Night Sorrow's situation very well. While Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were chatting, Qin Qianjie walked out of the teleportation array. Night Sorrow was a little surprised. He stood up to greet him. He didn't know what had happened because Qin Qianjie wouldn't have come if there wasn't something. 7th Sect Elder really saw through me. Seeing Night Sorrow, Qin Qianjie first confirmed Night Sorrow's cultivation. Since Enforcer Patriarch Qin has come to the ethereal Imperial City, something must have happened in the heavenly desolate city, Yishang greeted. It's nothing. Seventh sect elder asked me to check your cultivation level. He only found out that there was something wrong with your cultivation level after you left Xingyue City. He didn't confirm it at that time, so he asked me to come. Emperor Tribulation Cultivator. I didn't expect you to reach the Emperor Tribulation Cultivator level. We haven't seen each other for a while. Qin Qianjie's eyes didn't leave Night Sorrow. Sect Elder Qin, don't look at me like that. I'm not used to it. Come, let's sit down and have some tea. Night Sorrow invited Qin Qianjie to sit down. If I remember correctly, you haven't reached 1,000 years of lifespan yet. This achievement is really shocking. Qin Qianjie took a sip of tea and said after sitting down. I had no choice. The 9-domain world's tribulation is here. The strongest cultivator in the tribulation is at the peak of the Emperor Tribulation. He can't come out because of the geographical advantage. I can only think of a way to break through and resolve the 9-domain world's tribulation, Yishan explained. When are you going to the heavenly desolate city? I have to go back and pass on the news. The 7th sect elder and the grand elder are waiting for me. After drinking the tea, Qin Qianjie stood up. I'll go over later. I'll spend the next few days with my brothers. They're pretty tired from fighting the 9 domains world's tribulation. Night Sorrow said. He did not want to make things so irritable. Everyone had a life to live, and so did the members of the God-slaying team. When Qin Qianjie returned to the heavenly desolate city, he went straight to the 7th Patriarch's residence. At this moment, the Grand Elder was also there. Are you sure? The Grand Elder asked anxiously. It wasn't that the Grand Elder wasn't calm enough. It was just that this matter was very important. It wasn't hard for Monarch Realm to reach Monarch Realm because it was just a small leap. It was all about comprehending the power of heaven and earth. However, it was different from Monarch Realm to Monarch Realm. It was a big leap. It was easy for Monarch Realm cultivators to achieve it, but it was difficult for Monarch Realm cultivators to achieve it. Many people wouldn't be able to take this step in their entire lives. How long did the Heavenly Tao give for the arrival of Monarch Realm cultivators? It was 100 billion years. It meant that the Heavenly Tao said that it would take 100 billion years to reach the Monarch Realm. Difficult, extremely difficult. In the Celestial Realm, there were only a few Monarch Realm cultivators. They were all the higher-ups of the 100 Races Alliance. The Grand Elder cared about Night Sorrow's level mainly because Night Sorrow was a human sovereign. His achievements would affect the human race and the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. I'm sure. He's a Monarch Realm cultivator. His aura is profound and has a very strong pressure. Qin Qianjie gave an accurate answer. What kind of power of heaven and earth did he cultivate to perfection? The Grand Elder asked again. At this time, Qin Qianjie's face was a little red. Grand Elder. His energy doesn't leak out, and all kinds of energy in his body are constantly circulating. I can't be sure. The Grand Elder shook his head. He knew that Qin Qianjie couldn't do this. Night Sorrow's attributes were very high. Not everyone could detect them. If one's cultivation wasn't higher than Night Sorrow's, they would be suppressed. Grand Elder, don't worry. He'll probably come back in a few days. He'll be fine after the 9 regions world's tribulation, Qin Qianjie said. There are new talents in every generation. In this period, he's the leader. The others, the elites of the 100 races, can't compare to him. The Grand Elder's face was full of joy. As long as Night Sorrow entered the Monarch Realm, he would be happy, even if he couldn't be sure if it was the Monarch Realm. Night Sorrow stayed in the ethereal Imperial City for a few days. He also went to see Wu Feng and Song Ning. The two of them were Night Sorrow's friends. Wu Feng was his big brother and had helped him a lot. Night Sorrow remembered all this in his heart. He wondered if he should help Wu Feng return to his family and settle the grudge with his mother's family. However, Wu Feng refused. He wanted to settle these matters himself. This was his responsibility as a son. Night Sorrow promised that as long as Wu Feng needed him, he would be there anytime. After settling the matters in the ethereal imperial city, Night Sorrow asked the members of the god-slaying team if there was anything else. After confirming that there was nothing else, Night Sorrow left the ethereal imperial city with the god-slaying team and went to Tianhuang City. After arriving at Tianhuang City, Night Sorrow didn't stop at all. He directly took the teleportation array and went to Reincarnation Island. Night Sorrow communicated with Nan Yong, Shi Cheng, Song Jingang, Lin Chuan, Duan Qianshui, and Long Hao. Reincarnation Island went back to normal. 3 Original O version K. When the Grand Elder and the 7 clan elders received the news, Night Sorrow was already at Reincarnation Island's camp. This bastard, he's the transit station of Heavenly Desolate City. He's treating Samsara Island as his base, Lu Qi muttered. He wants to do his job well. While guarding Reincarnation Island, he wants to cultivate quietly. The Grand Elder stood up and walked towards the teleportation array. Lu Qi followed behind. Grand Elder, don't go yet. I'll go to Reincarnation Island to take a look. No need. If this guy doesn't want to stop or stay, we'll go over. The Grand Elder said as he stepped onto the teleportation array. When Night Sorrow returned from patrolling around the stronghold, he saw the Grand Elder and Lu Qi standing outside the teleportation array. Seniors, why didn't you tell me you were coming? Night Sorrow invited the Grand Elder and Lu Qi into the tent. I just wanted to confirm what element you had when you entered the Tribulation Emperor level, but I can't even begin to imagine the result, said the Great Elder with a sigh. He could already see Yishan's situation. The Grand Elder discovered that Night Sorrow's destruction attribute will of heaven and earth, as well as the void and spacetime grand influence of heaven and earth, were in a perfect state. Oh, it's because of this. I plan to take care of the matters at Samsara Island and then return to Heavenly Desolate City. I plan to stay there for a while. Yishan smiled. You'll stay for a while? Lu Qi's eyes were filled with disbelief. Of course. I plan to cultivate on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Night Sorrow explained. Chapter 2087. Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Nirvana Ocean Bridge is not suitable for others, but it suits you the most. However, the Demon Wing clan has been restless recently and has challenged us several times. I'm afraid it will delay your cultivation, the Grand Elder said. It doesn't matter. My true body will cultivate in the back while my doppelganger will block the front. I will kill whoever comes. Of course, the 7th Elder and the Grand Elder will have to deal with those with high cultivation, Night Sorrow said with a smile and explained his plan. They won't dare. If their high-level cultivators attack you, then we won't accept their challenge. We will kill whoever comes. There will be no rules, the Grand Elder said. Lu Qi also nodded. There were rules for a battle. Because of the rules, the Demon Wing clan cultivators dared to challenge in front of the Heavenly Wasteland City. If there was no bottom line to the battle, they would not be able to return. Night Sorrow, you have to go back early. There are many experts in the younger generation of the Demon Wing clan. Our monarchs and monarchs can't defeat them. We will have to rely on your god-slaying team, Lu Qi said. Okay, I will go back in 2 or 3 days. This time, they are not allowed to challenge me casually. I will block them and let them challenge me, Night Sorrow said. After hearing Night Sorrow's decision, the Grand Elder and the 7th Elder left satisfied. They got the answer they wanted and also got the news that Night Sorrow was going to fight. This made them very happy. The elites of the Demon Wing clan still brought pressure to the Heavenly Desolate City. The Demon Wing clan sent out their disciples who were good at different things. The Heavenly Desolate City didn't have any specific targets, so the failure rate was very high. When the Heavenly Desolate City understood, the opponent would withdraw and replace them. If Yi Shang were to fight, there would be no need to worry about this because the Great Elder and Lu Qi knew that everyone in Tianhuang City knew that Yi Shang had no shortcomings and was good at everything. Hee, this time those 2 fellows are happy. With your appearance, the Demon Wing clan's strategy this time will be ineffective. However, this king has 2 words to remind you. The Golden Dragon King appeared beside Night Sorrow. Senior Golden Dragon King, please speak your mind. I, Night Sorrow, will definitely remember your words. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at the Golden Dragon King. Fighting against the demon-winged race is different from fighting against the 100 races of the celestial realm. What we seek is to kill. If you want to go to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge to block people, then every battle must end quickly and not give the enemy a chance to understand you. This way, you will be able to stand on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge for a longer period of time, the Golden Dragon King said. Night Sorrow cupped his hands toward the Golden Dragon King. He knew that this was priceless advice. Seeing that the matter of Samsara Island was on the right track, Night Sorrow brought his clones of his wives, Lin Chuan, Long Jin, and Tianyu back to Heavenly Wasteland City. Without informing anyone, they arrived at the city gate of the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. In the past, the city gate was wide open. The practitioners of Heavenly Wasteland City could see the Nirvana Ocean Bridge at any time and see the road to the demon-winged race. In addition, Night Sorrow's bloody path back also inspired the practitioners of the 100 races of the celestial realm. However, at this time, the city gate of the Nirvana Ocean Bridge was closed. This was because the elites of the demon-winged race often came. If the gate was not closed, they would be attacked by the other party. Samsara Island, Night Sorrow is going to fight. Open the gate. Night Sorrow shouted toward the city gate. The Heaven Wasteland army guarding the gate was stunned. They could not decide whether to open the gate or not because it was the order of the Assembly of Elders to close the gate. Open the gate. At this time, Emperor Tang, who was patrolling, ordered the Heaven Wasteland army guarding the gate. With the activation of the formation, the gate of Heavenly Wasteland City opened. Standing in front of the city gate, Night Sorrow turned around and said to Long Jin, Lin Chuan, and the others, do what you need to do. I don't think I will be back for a while. If you have nothing to do, go back to Samsara Island to take a look. Nothing can go wrong there. Then, Night Sorrow left the city gate and walked toward the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. After leaving the city gate for some distance, Night Sorrow looked up at the sky. He reached out his right hand and grabbed the Samsara halberd. Then, he inserted it into the ground beside him. Then, the energy on his body vibrated and a series of afterimages appeared. It was the clone carrying the blood-Chilan evil-slaying spear. He continued to walk forward. After walking for 200 miles, Night Sorrow's clone sat down cross-legged. If the commander wants to accept a challenge, he can't do without an assistant to communicate with the opponent. I, Lin Chuan, will do this job. After speaking, Lin Chuan took out a pile of refining materials from his storage ring. Then, flames appeared on his body and melted the materials into a large rectangular sign. He waved his right hand and carved the word, battle, on the sign. Then, he flew to a distance behind Night Sorrow's clone and threw the sign into the air. He inserted it into a protruding rock on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge beside Night Sorrow. Commander, do you like it? Lin Chuan shouted. Good, beautiful. Night Sorrow stretched out his left hand and gave a thumbs up. Captain, you don't have to speak. Just focus on the battle. We will take care of the rest. Long Jin also appeared and stood beside Lin Chuan behind Night Sorrow. Ha! Okay, but you don't have to suffer with me. You two go back first. Come down when the opponent comes. Night Sorrow waved at Long Jin and Lin Chuan. He was indeed very happy. This was what brothers were like. How about this? Long Jin, you go back first. Come and take my place later. We have to leave Yen alone to accompany the commander, Lin Chuan said. Okay. Long Jin threw a jar of wine to Night Sorrow and Lin Chuan each and left. Night Sorrow nodded at Lin Chuan and sat down cross-legged. The blood-Chilan evil vanquishing spear was placed across his knees. Wanna initial, I, commander, if the emperor comes, don't send them back. Can I make them stay? Lin Chuan said to Night Sorrow. I knew you would have thoughts. It's not that you can't do it, but you have to listen to orders. If I tell you to fight, you fight. If I tell you to retreat, you can't be vague. This is not a joke, Night Sorrow said to Lin Chuan. Lin Chuan nodded. He wanted to fight. As for orders, he believed in Night Sorrow's. While the doppelganger and Lin Chuan talked, Night Sorrow's main body entered a state of cultivation and began to cultivate Shi. When an emperor's tribulation cultivator reached perfection, they would enter into the cultivation of their own Shi. Unlike an emperor's tribulation cultivator, one was the external Shi of the world and the other was the release of their own Shi. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi knew that Night Sorrow had returned. The two of them went to the top of the city gate. This guy is still impatient. This is good. However, I can't leave. Night Sorrow has already been listed in the Demon Wing race. When they see Night Sorrow fight, they can't use any underhanded methods. Chapter 2088. You don't have to worry. It's almost impossible for cultivators of the same level to defeat or kill Yishang. As for those whose cultivation is higher than Yishang's, even if they want to attack, we won't allow it. The Great Elder said to Lin Piaomiao and the others. Lin Piaomiao and the others nodded. They believed in Night Sorrow, but they were worried that the other party would use underhanded means. Now that the Grand Elder was here, they were relieved. Elder 7, make arrangements later to hand over this gate to the Humanitarian League. Piaomiao, you have to guard this place. I'll hand it over to you for convenience. When it's not needed, you can hand it over to the Heaven Wasteland Army, the Grand Elder said to Lu Qi and Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow's original body felt the feeling of being one with the world and began to cultivate. His doppelganger and Lin Chuan chatted. Night Sorrow even talked about how he went to the constellation world in fear. Lin Chuan also said that the situation of the White Tiger race wasn't very good these years. There weren't many of them in the constellation world. The days passed peacefully, but Night Sorrow returned to the Heaven Wasteland City with the cultivation of the Emperor Tribulation. This was because Night Sorrow's cultivation and virtue were enough to be a law enforcement patriarch. It should be known that the law enforcement patriarch held a high position in the 100 Races Patriarch Assembly. There were discussions, but the Lord of the Heaven Wasteland City didn't show up. The Grand Elder didn't say anything and didn't convene the Patriarch Assembly. Things were still very peaceful. However, because the gate of the Nirvana Ocean Bridge was opened again, the Heaven Wasteland Army and some elites who were selected to develop in the Heaven Wasteland City came to the gate to watch the bloody footprints. However, their attention wasn't on the bloody footprints at the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. They were paying attention to the figure standing in the storm of Nirvana. Night Sorrow stood on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. His body was just like the Samsara halberd in his right hand. In the eyes of the cultivators, he was a divine weapon standing between heaven and earth. Many of the cultivators who came to watch did not understand what Night Sorrow was cultivating. His comprehension of the worldly momentum was not like Night Sorrow's. After cultivating for half a month and having some thoughts, Night Sorrow waved his left hand and summoned the Haotian godly pagoda. He smashed it into the Nirvana Ocean Bridge and then landed on top of it to begin his time-accelerated cultivation. Night Sorrow didn't place the clear sky godly pagoda high up. Instead, he placed it in the sea so that he could receive the full impact of the Nirvana Ocean and the sky. This time, Night Sorrow's train of thought became clearer and clearer. In the past, when he was cultivating, his level was not high enough, so he could feel it in advance. After all, he had not reached this level yet. 20 days later, the Demon Wings clan appeared. It was not a single Demon Wings clan member, but a team. The leader was an Emperor Tribulation cultivator, and there were emperors and emperors in the team. Sensing their arrival, Night Sorrow's clone and Lin Chuan stood up. If there was going to be a battle, they would accept it. Sensing the arrival of the Demon Wing clan, the members of the 100 Races Alliance at the gate of the Nirvana City of Heaven Wasteland all stood up, because a battle was about to break out. At the same time, the Heaven Wasteland Army and cultivators who had come to watch Yishang's battle at the gate also spread the news. Therefore, more and more people gathered at the city gate. Lin Chuan stretched his waist and walked forward. He walked to Night Sorrow's side and said, "Since they're here, let's start the battle. How do you think we should fight? Long Jin heard Lin Chuan's words and slapped his thigh. I knew it. It's not worth it to come back first. With that, Long Jin flashed to Lin Chuan's side. Seems like you're prepared, the leader of the Demon Wings clan said. He was an Emperor Tribulation cultivator, just like Night Sorrow. That's right. If you want a battle, we'll accept it. We have an Emperor Tribulation, 3 Emperors Tribulation, and Emperor Tribulation. You can choose any of the 3 levels. If you can't do it, go back, Lin Chuan said. Long Jin smiled at Lin Chuan. Brother, you're so generous. Z, Yong Pi Jiu, free, equals asterisk look at small, j. Of course. Since you're here, we have to fight together. We can't leave you behind. Lin Chuan nodded. After nodding to Long Jin, Lin Chuan pointed at a member of the Demon Wings clan. You. Since you don't have a 3 Emperor Tribulation cultivator, a 4 Emperor Tribulation cultivator is fine too. Do you dare to fight me? Ignorant boy, you're courting death. Last time, we killed emperors. This time, it's the Emperor Tribulation cultivator's turn. Perhaps the higher-ups of the Celestial Wasteland City will feel the heartache. The member of the Demon Wings clan that Lin Chuan pointed at stood out. They were here to kill and destroy the morale of the cultivators of the Celestial Realm. Naturally, they wouldn't avoid a battle. Lin Chuan, ask for his name. Our god-slaying team doesn't kill nameless people, Long Jin said to Lin Chuan. Demon Wings Clan, Star King Tribe. Mo Xinglie. The 4 Emperor Tribulation cultivator of the Demon Wings clan took a few steps forward and said. As expected, the elites of the Celestial Wasteland City's 100 King Tribe are here. It seems like the Demon Wings clan has already made some arrangements and plans, the Grand Elder muttered from the top of the Nirvana City's gate. In the previous few battles, both sides didn't communicate and fought immediately. Therefore, the Assembly of Elders didn't know some information. Come. Lin Chuan unsheathed the battle blade in his hand and looked at Mo Xinglie. And who are you? Mo Xinglie looked at Lin Chuan. There's no need to tell you because you're going to be a dead man soon. However, in order to let you know who killed you, I'll tell you. I'm Lin Chuan of the White Tiger clan. Lin Chuan took a few steps forward. Night Sorrow held the Blood Cure and Evil Slayer in his hand. He had confidence in Lin Chuan, but he had to be careful of unexpected situations. Mo Xinglie walked out and waved his battle blade at Lin Chuan at an extremely fast speed. Speed was also Lin Chuan's forte. He rushed forward and slashed with the battle blade in his hand. Lin Chuan, they aren't important figures. There's no need to test them. Just kill them. Night Sorrow shouted when he saw that Lin Chuan's speed and attack strength were all reserved. This was also a reminder from the Golden Dragon King. After hearing Night Sorrow's shout, Lin Chuan's aura changed. The battle blade in his hand was covered with stripe-shaped energy. It was the power of slaughter. His speed had also increased. It was the Western White Tiger kill. Lin Chuan and Mo Xinglie were both very fast and instantly completed a collision. As the collision ended, Mo Xinglie's expression changed. Lin Chuan's attack power was too strong. He was at a disadvantage in one move. After defeating Mo Xinglie in one move, Lin Chuan's aura erupted. The White Tiger Phantom appeared behind him and attacked Mo Xinglie. The battle was intense. Mo Xinglie's pair of flesh wings kept trembling as he dodged Lin Chuan's attack. Go to hell. At this moment, the White Tiger Phantom behind Lin Chuan condensed and turned into a substantial energy attack that pounced towards Mo Xinglie. This was an ultimate skill that he could only use after entering the Emperor Tribulation. During the Heaven List competition, he couldn't use it. Mo Xinglie wanted to dodge, but Lin Chuan's move was too fast. He was sent flying by the White Tiger's energy. When Mo Xinglie's body flew uncontrollably, a blade light flashed and cut his body into two from head to toe. Chapter 2089. Mo Xinglie was dead, but the Devil Wing race members didn't make a move. They were clear that they were the ones who started the gentlemen's fight. If they didn't follow the rules, no matter how many people came, they wouldn't dare to come again. Great Commander, Lin Chuan has completed the mission. Lin Chuan stood in his original position. Very good. You rest for a while. You won't accept any challenges today. Night Sorrow said to Lin Chuan. Yes. Although Lin Chuan still wanted to fight, he had to obey Night Sorrow's orders. Besides, this was what he promised Night Sorrow. After Lin Chuan was done, Long Jin stood beside Night Sorrow and said, Captain, can I play too? Sure. Looking at the two emperors, Night Sorrow nodded. Although the two members were both peak emperors, Night Sorrow noticed that the energy in their bodies didn't surpass Long Jin's. Long Jin took 2 steps forward and held the ocean wave blade in his hand. If you want to fight with me, tell me your name. Although it's a dead man's name, we don't kill nameless people. Very arrogant. The Devil Wing race leader snorted. He was a member of the Devil Wing race's Dark King tribe, Mo shouting. The Dark King tribe was one of the top tribes in the 100 King tribe. We have the qualifications to be arrogant. You guys were able to show off earlier because our reincarnation island didn't return. Our god-slaying team wasn't here. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be birds. Long Jin sneered. 5R8Y Hearing Long Jin's words, Tianyu wasn't satisfied. They aren't even birds. Hearing Tianyu's words, although the atmosphere was tense, Lin Piao Miao and the others all laughed. What kind of bird temper is that? Yang Lei glanced at Tianyu. 9th senior sister, I have a bird temper. Tianyu replied softly. If others said it, he could still explode. However, if Yang Lei and the others said it, he couldn't get angry. They were all people he respected. All right. You win. Yang Lei shook her head helplessly because Tianyu was telling the truth. While Tianyu was talking with Yang Lei and the others, the battle on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge started. Long Jin and one of the other emperors started fighting. In the beginning, they were evenly matched. Then, the Golden Dragon transformed and used his blade skills to suppress the opponent. In just a short moment, the opponent was killed. Not bad, come back and rest. Night Sorrow waved at Long Jin. Nodding at Night Sorrow, Long Jin returned to the side behind Night Sorrow and stood together with Lin Chuan. Seeing Long Jin come back, Lin Chuan and Long Jin bumped their palms together. Let me tell you about the situation first. Just now, my 2 brothers played with you. Now, it's my turn. I'll be standing here. If you want to go to the desolate Sky City, then defeat me first. As for cultivation, I'm an Emperor Tribulation. You can make the arrangements. However, I'll tell you in advance that I've arranged a chance for you. If you want to go in without cultivation, then don't say I didn't follow the rules if you get killed. Night Sorrow said. Then I'll kill you first. Mo shouting walked out with his blade. You don't have the right to kill me. I didn't want to know your name, but my brother wants to know. He wants to carve it as a souvenir. Then, tell me your name. Night Sorrow glanced at Lin Chuan, who was carving his name on the metal plate. Lin Chuan had divided the plate into 4 rows, Emperor Tribulation, Emperor Tribulation, Emperor Tribulation, Emperor Tribulation. At the Emperor Tribulation area, there was a record of Lin Chuan killing Mo Xinglie. At the Emperor Tribulation area, there was a record of Long Jin's battle record. I'm Mo shouting of the Dark King tribe of the Demon-Winged clan. Even if you die, you'll know who your creditor is. Mo shouting dragged his blade and walked towards Night Sorrow. Mo shouting swung his battle saber when he was still 300 feet away from Yishang. An astral saber slashed towards Yishang. Night Sorrow's body flashed, using Void Step and Spacetime Realm at the same time. After dodging the astral blade, he reappeared in front of Mo shouting. Then, the forbidden Samsara domain erupted and started suppressing Mo shouting. Next, he used the destructive True Dragon incantation. After his attack missed, Night Sorrow's body disappeared and reappeared. Mo Xiaoting's expression changed. Just as he wanted to speed up and retreat, Night Sorrow's forbidden samsara domain suppressed him. He couldn't increase his speed anymore. At this time, Night Sorrow's blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear stabbed out. The blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear carried a black halo that rippled in all directions, enveloping Mo Xiaoting. Break! Mo Xiaoting's domain power spread out in all directions as he swung his blade towards the blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear. However, Night Sorrow didn't fight Mo Xiaoting head-on. He used Void Step to move his body, and the blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear continued to stab towards Mo Xiaoting from the side. Mo Xiaoting's body turned, and his blade blocked again. However, due to the negative effects of the reincarnation True Dragon incantation, his blade technique was much slower. Go to hell! Night Sorrow's right hand shook, and a shockwave burst out, knocking away Mo Xiaoting's blade that was blocking his blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear. Then, the blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear sped up and stabbed into Mo Xiaoting's chest. Next, a shockwave burst out, and the reincarnation energy began to destroy Mo Xiaoting's body. Mo Xiaoting's body stopped moving. The reincarnation energy was too overbearing, and it was on a level that surpassed any other energy. It was much more overbearing than the void and destruction energy. The constant shockwaves destroyed the meridians in Mo Xiaoting's body. Night Sorrow's right arm shook, and the blood Qilin evil vanquishing spear stabbed again, piercing through Mo Xiaoting's forehead and destroying his spirit sea. His left hand sucked, and Mo Xiaoting's weapon and storage ring were put away. Night Sorrow kicked Mo Xiaoting's corpse in front of the Demon Wing Clan's team. You're not my match. Go back and report this to your higher-ups. I'm a First Emperor Tribulation cultivator, and I'll accept any First Emperor Tribulation cultivator from your Demon Wing Clan. Remember, the gentleman's battle was issued by you, so don't be a coward and let us look down on you. The members of the Demon Wing Clan's team were shocked because Night Sorrow was too strong. They hadn't expected him to kill Mo Xiaoting with just 3 spear strikes. They glanced at Night Sorrow, but didn't dare to ask for his name. The Demon Wing Clan's members took the 3 corpses and left. They had to report this to their higher-ups. Seeing the Demon Wing Clan's team leave, Lin Chuan and Long Jin roared. Great! Long Jin patted his chest. Not bad. We're lacking an Imperial Emperor now. It would be great if we had a strong one, Night Sorrow said. Currently, Night Sorrow, Lin Chuan, and Long Jin represented the 3 levels, and the Imperial Emperors on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge could travel. Therefore, the Celestial Realm's 100 races still lacked Imperial Emperors. The Demon Wing Clan's team left with 3 lives. Roars came from the top of Nirvana City's gate, and it was the same at the city gate. Because there were many people watching, Night Sorrow and the other 2 killed almost without any suspense. Chapter 2090. The Great Elder's heart calmed down because Yishang's strength proved that there was no problem. He could easily kill a First Emperor Tribulation Realm cultivator of the Demon Wing Clan. His opponent was simply not on the same level as him. The Demonic Winged Clan retreated, and Night Sorrow and the other 2 began to drink. After drinking a cup of wine, Long Jin said, Captain, we need to find a powerful Celestial Emperor. To be honest, the Celestial Emperor of the God-Slaying Squad is not bad, but he's not strong enough yet. Yes, the members of the God-Slaying Squad are outstanding. The one we need to fight now must be the most outstanding cultivator of the same level. They're not good enough, but there's one more suitable. However, I need to ask for his opinion on this matter, Night Sorrow said. Chapter G, the most V/new chapter. Beyond B. Who is it? Long Jin asked. He knew all the people around Night Sorrow. None of the Celestial Emperors had outstanding battle prowess. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, Xiao Gu from Starmoon City. He's at the peak of the Celestial Emperor realm. How about this? Your main body or clone can bring him to 9 Regions City to find me. I'll talk to him. We won't force this matter. Long Jin nodded and went to handle this matter. His clone had followed Night Sorrow to Tianhuang City. His main body was at Reincarnation Island. His main body could go to Star Moon City now. Not long after, Night Sorrow's 9 clones in 9 regions city met Xiao Gu, who Long Jin had brought. Night Sorrow explained the situation to Xiao Gu. Lord Realm Lord, you're too polite. I don't know what happened in my previous life, but since I have a body of merit, I must have contributed greatly to the celestial realm in my previous life. In this life, I'll follow in my footsteps. Xiao Gu nodded. He addressed Night Sorrow as Realm Lord just like everyone in Star Moon City. Good. How about this? You go to Reincarnation Island with Long Jin and train with the members of the God-slaying squad for a while. Then, Long Jin will bring Xiao Gu to Tianhuang City. Night Sorrow made the arrangements. Long Jin nodded and brought Xiao Gu to Reincarnation Island. Xiao Gu was outstanding in all aspects, but Night Sorrow was not at ease with her combat experience. On the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, Night Sorrow and the other two were chatting excitedly. Which youth wasn't frivolous? Although the 3 of them weren't youths, they were the youngest cultivators in the group of cultivators who couldn't be any younger. Is Lu Qi envious of them? Who could seize the peak of a horse with a sword in hand? We couldn't compare to them back then. The Grand Elder looked at the 3 people on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge and said. When Mo Zhantian received the news, his expression changed. All 3 of them are very strong. Not 3. One of them is from the dragon's race, one is from the white tiger race, and the strongest is from the human race. The pale-faced Mo Xiaoting spoke. Mo Xiaoting had sent his clone to fight, and now, his main body was reporting to Mo Zhantian. Human. You only took 3 moves. The first sovereign tribulation. When did they have such a cultivator? Clairvoyant, rewind the scene. Mo Zhantian ordered the clairvoyant. When the clairvoyant rewound the scene, Mo Zhantian's expression turned cold. He recognized Night Sorrow. Bastard. Mo Zhantian waved his hand and smashed a stone pillar in the hall. Night Sorrow's existence was like a fishbone stuck in his throat. Moreover, Night Sorrow's strength had risen too quickly. Gather everyone. Gather all the members of the first sovereign tribulation. Even if we have to risk our lives, we have to defeat him. He is our demon-winged clan's obstacle to conquering the celestial realm. We have to get rid of him. Mo Zhantian said. Hearing Mo Zhantian's words, the demon-winged clan began to move. Not only the original members of the Demon Imperial City, but all the members of the first sovereign tribulation of the 100 Kings tribe also moved. Soon, close to 40 cultivators of the first sovereign tribulation gathered in the Demon Imperial Palace. You are all the elites of the demon-winged clan. Under normal circumstances, I don't want any of you to be injured. However, I have to make a decision now. We still have an era. When the new supreme world appears, the celestial realm will be reincarnated into a secondary supreme world, and our heaven wasteland domain will be destroyed. One era. We only have one era. Therefore, even if there are losses, you have to bear them. Next, use the self-destructive battle method to destroy the human sovereign of the 100 clans in front of you. The first step is to destroy his clone and destroy his future. Mo Zhantian gave the battle order. Then, Mo Zhantian made the tactical arrangements. The mid-level first sovereign tribulation cultivators would fight to the death with Night Sorrow. If they failed, they would self-destruct. Even if they couldn't destroy Night Sorrow's clone, they had to severely injure Night Sorrow and give the people behind a chance. In addition to the first sovereign tribulation cultivators of the Demon-Winged Clan, the Peak Emperor Realm members of the Demon-Winged Clan had also gathered. This didn't mean that the Celestial Realm wasn't good enough. Heaven Wasteland Domain had developed one more supreme world than the Celestial Realm. The time between the beginning of the reincarnation cycle and the destruction of the reincarnation cycle was more than 1,000 cycles, which was double the time. In terms of foundation, the Celestial Realm was more than twice as strong as the Celestial Realm. The 100 races of the Celestial Realm had their heyday. However, they didn't break into the demon imperial city and didn't fight on Heaven Wasteland Domain. Therefore, Heaven Wasteland Domain wasn't harmed at all. Heaven Wasteland Domain wasn't affected by the flames of war. This was because the demon-winged clan once had an expert who almost passed the god-destroying tribulation. His head became a big city, an impregnable city. When the dense crowd of Devil Wing clan members appeared on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge under Mo Zhantian's lead, the three of them jumped in fright. The other side's formation was too large, and there were too many of them. It didn't look like a gentleman's battle at all. Instead, it looked like a one-on-one battle. The Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders also stood behind Knight Sorrow and the other two. Mo Zhantian, are you trying to bring forward the battle? Then the 100 races of the celestial realm will accompany you. The Great Elder turned around and glanced at the illusory figure that appeared above the city gate. He then looked at Mo Zhantian and said. Mo Zhantian also looked at the illusory figure above the city gate. It was the energy clone of the City Lord of Heaven Wasteland Domain, Tran Hung. I'm here to watch my subordinates engage in a gentleman's battle. Are you afraid to accept, or are you afraid? Mo Zhantian snorted coldly. All right. If you don't play by the rules, we won't hold back either. The Grand Elder replied. Then, he waved his hand and a chair appeared. He sat down on the Heaven Wasteland Ocean Bridge. Bring a few more chairs. The Grand Elder turned around and shouted. Who's Knight Sorrow? Come out and die. At this moment, a first Emperor Tribulation cultivator from the demon-winged clan stepped forward and shouted. Damn it. There's really someone in a hurry to die. Lin Chuan cursed. The rules are here. If you want to fight, then leave your name. If you don't have a name, don't come out and embarrass yourselves, Long Jin said. Demon-winged clan's Nether King tribe, Moe Cheng. The first Emperor Tribulation cultivator reported his name. Lin Chuan, prepare to carve your name. Knight Sorrow raised his blood Qilin evil-slaying spear and took a few steps forward. Since the other party was here, Knight Sorrow was ready to fight. He would kill as many as there were. Chapter 2091. Mo Icheng stepped forward and pointed his blade at Knight Sorrow, his body full of murderous intent. Heaven Wasteland Domain often had wars. The demon-winged clan was a fighting race, but they were very united against outsiders. In addition, when the demon-winged clan was at a critical juncture of life and death, they had no choice but to fight to the death. After Knight Sorrow took a step forward, the blood Qilin evil-slaying spear spread out, and the energy in his body began to circulate. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, go to hell. Mo Icheng rose into the air and slashed his blade at Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow's body flashed, and then he rushed forward. The blood Qilin evil-slaying spear displayed the reincarnation true dragon art and stabbed at Mo Icheng's blade. At this time, Mo Icheng's blade changed its path, avoiding the attack of Knight Sorrow's blood Qilin evil-slaying spear and slashing at Knight Sorrow's head. He planned to exchange injury for injury, to trade life for life. Seeing this scene, Knight Sorrow smiled. Exchanging injury for life? He was not afraid of such a thing. He continued to rush forward, the blood Qilin evil-slaying spear still stabbing at Mo Icheng's chest. Both of them had chosen to fight to the death. The demon-winged clan is not afraid of death. Lock. With a low roar, a net-like energy line appeared on Mo Icheng's body, sealing off the surroundings. He wanted to trap Knight Sorrow, so that Knight Sorrow could not dodge and could only fight according to the current situation. In fact, Knight Sorrow had no intention of dodging, and his body was rapidly approaching Mo Icheng. Because of the negative effects of the reincarnation true dragon art, Mo Icheng could not escape the current situation. Affected by Knight Sorrow's secret technique, the reincarnation true dragon art, Mo Icheng's soul power burst out in all directions to maintain his consciousness and the power of his blade as he continued to slash at Knight Sorrow. Rip. Mo Icheng's protective armor was pierced by Knight Sorrow's blood Qilin evil-slaying spear, and the fluctuations of the blood Qilin evil-slaying spear directly destroyed the insides of Mo Icheng's body. Die! Mo Yicheng poured all the energy in his body into the blade and slashed at Night Sorrow's head. He wanted to kill Yishang. As for the clone, he didn't care if it was destroyed. As long as this sure kill strike could kill Yishang, it would be enough, even if it was severely injured. At this moment, Night Sorrow's left hand, which was glowing with a golden light, reached above his head. Then, he grabbed Mo Yicheng's saber and took the full blow of Mo Yicheng's saber before his body was destroyed. Blood Qilin's evil slaying spear, and Mo Yicheng's head. Then, he swung the spear and spear, and left spear left his storage ring spear. End of the spear, he left, his spear, Sorrow's spear, and his blade-slaying spear. Mo Yicheng, a first Emperor Tribulation cultivator from the Demon Wings clan. He died under Yicheng's spear in Tianhuang City. Lin Chuan shouted. Then he carved Mo Yicheng's name under Mo Xiaoting's name. Taking a few steps back, Night Sorrow threw Mo Yicheng's storage ring and weapon to the Grand Elder. I will continue to fight. Grand Elder, please refine the imprint. The Grand Elder smiled and nodded. He was very happy and satisfied. What did it mean to be clean and tidy? Night Sorrow was clean and tidy. In one clash, he had easily finished off his opponent. Moreover, it was a battle of attrition. Let's go next. Fight. Let's fight to our heart's content. Night Sorrow waved his blood Qilin evil slaying spear and declared war on the Devil Wing clan. There were rules in the gentleman's battle. At this time, Night Sorrow had just fought, so he could choose not to fight. At this time, it was Night Sorrow who wanted to fight. He wanted to deal a heavy blow to the Devil Wing clan and extinguish the Devil Wing clan's aggressive momentum. Mo Jinyuan, I will fight you. Another member of the Devil Wing clan stood out. Come. Night Sorrow's body flashed, and he charged towards Mo Jinyuan. Remember this lord's words. Mo Zhantian reminded Mo Jinyuan. He meant that if he couldn't defeat Night Sorrow, he would self-destruct. He had to deal with him, even if it meant sacrificing his life. After watching the battle between Night Sorrow and Mo Yicheng, Mo Jinyuan knew that Night Sorrow's left hand's defense was very strong. Therefore, he avoided the cause of Mo Yicheng's defeat and directly fought with brute force, displaying all his strength. However, because of Night Sorrow's speed, Mo Jinyuan's attacks all missed. Go to hell. Since he couldn't attack Night Sorrow, he couldn't see any hope of defeating Night Sorrow. Mo Jinyuan thought for a moment and circulated his energy to his dantian, preparing to self-destruct. Noticing this, Night Sorrow naturally understood what was going on. He used the soul attack soul extinguishing slash and slashed towards Mo Jinyuan. At the same time, he added in the illusion attack. Ever since he cultivated the variant soul extinguishing slash, this was the first time Night Sorrow used it in a one-on-one battle. Mo Jinyuan's soul defense blocked the soul extinguishing slash, but the illusion attack penetrated deep into his soul, causing it to stop operating for a breath of time. In such a critical moment, not to mention a breath, even an instant was enough for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's blood Qilin evil slaying spear carried a spiraling penetrating force, directly piercing through Mo Jinyuan's head and shattering his spirit seat. Under such circumstances, the true energy in Mo Jinyuan's dantian could no longer be stimulated or triggered. Thus, it could not explode, and naturally dissipated. Night Sorrow waved his blood Qilin evil slaying spear and collected Mo Jinyuan's storage ring. Then, he kicked Mo Jinyuan's corpse back to the Devil-Winged clan's camp. Lin Chuan, this is the second. Who's the third? Devil-Winged clan's first Emperor Tribulation cultivator, Mo Jinyuan, originated from the beginning of the 9th era. He was killed by Night Sorrow on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Two first Emperor Tribulation cultivators from the Devil-Winged clan had died in battle without causing a splash. They hadn't injured Night Sorrow, nor had Night Sorrow consumed any energy, let alone seriously injure Night Sorrow. Mo Zhantian's eyes twitched. He naturally saw that Mo Xingyuan was about to self-destruct, but Night Sorrow had interrupted him. Didn't you want to fight? Who's the third? I, Night Sorrow, will stand right here. Night Sorrow pointed his blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear at the ground and looked at the devil-winged clan's camp. Very good. Do you think you're invincible now? Mo Zhantian narrowed his eyes at Night Sorrow. He wanted nothing more than to slap Night Sorrow to death, but he knew he wouldn't have the chance. If he did, the major sects would definitely intervene. Then, a chaotic battle would ensue. He could leave, but the people he had brought with him would be left behind. Furthermore, the gentlemen's battle would be held to suppress the momentum of the 100 races of the celestial realm. Are you stupid? Our Grand Commander asked you to send people out. Are you scared? Lin Chuan shouted at the devil-winged clan after carving out the names. Men, go. Mo Zhantian ordered again. At the same time, he sent out a spiritual transmission, telling the fighters to take the opportunity to self-destruct. They had to injure Night Sorrow. If they didn't deal with Night Sorrow, they would lose this time. The momentum of the devil-winged clan would be destroyed, and Mo Zhantian couldn't afford to lose face. The battle began again. At this time, Night Sorrow couldn't tell that it was the virtuous king. He waved his blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear, and the members of the devil-winged clan fell one after another. In less than 2 hours, Night Sorrow had killed another 7 experts of the devil-winged clan. His surroundings and body were dyed red with blood. Chapter 2092. Still want to continue? Night Sorrow waved the blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear in his right hand as he stared coldly at the demon-winged clan's camp. Mo Zhantian squinted his eyes as he sized up Night Sorrow. He then waved his hand and retreated with his men. He knew that there was no point in continuing the battle. Without a proper solution, he would be killed by Night Sorrow no matter what. Wear out Night Sorrow. After 2 hours, Night Sorrow didn't have much energy left. An Emperor Tribulation cultivator wouldn't be worn out so easily unless they were evenly matched and fought for a long time. Another key point was that Night Sorrow could refuse to fight. If he continued to fight, he would be wasting lives. If Night Sorrow refused to fight, then he would fight another day. That would be a waste of lives. Go back and prepare. I have some time recently and will be waiting here for you to fight. Night Sorrow waved the blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear at the backs of Mo Zhantian and the others. Kill! 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 Deafening shouts came from Tianhuang City. 7 shouts were heard consecutively. Night Sorrow turned around and looked in the direction of Tianhuang City. He raised the blood-Qilin evil-slaying spear and shouted, I am invincible. After shouting, Yishan directly jumped into the Nirvana ocean of extinction and cleaned the blood and aura on his body. When he jumped out of the Nirvana ocean, energy vibrated and his originally wet robes became dry and comfortable. When he returned to his original location, Yishan looked at the messy battlefield with severed arms and legs. He shook his head. This is where I fought. That's right. You were the one who cut off the limbs, Lin Chuan said with certainty. Oh, this is a little too brutal. Night Sorrow felt a chill at the roots of his teeth. Blood was still flowing on the battlefield. The essence blood of an Emperor Tribulation expert was like his footprints. It wouldn't dissipate in a short period of time. They're here to kill you. Why don't you just wait to be cut down? What's done is done. It's no big deal, the Grand Elder said. Great Elder, you're thinking too much. Yi Shang isn't new to Jianghu. He can already accept these things. Our enmity with the Demon Wings clan isn't personal, it's a racial enmity. It's a war that won't end until one of us dies. I won't feel guilty about killing them. I'll guard this Nirvana Ocean Bridge. I'll kill whoever comes, said Yi Shang. You won 9 battles in a row, Yang Qi said. You killed 9 of the Devil Wing clan's first Tribulation Emperors. That was a pain that went deep into their bones. Let's see how they deal with it. They wanted to attack the morale of the 100 races of the celestial realm, but they ended up being attacked instead. They definitely won't be willing to bear the consequences. The Grand Elder said with a smile. After leaving, Mo Zhantian was extremely annoyed. However, he did not vent it on the members of the demon-winged clan. He knew that the root of this failure was that Night Sorrow was too difficult to deal with. Night Sorrow looked at the challenge card. So much blood. Captain, that's because you were too focused during the battle. The opponent's head flew onto the challenge card. Lin Chuan and I were very anxious. Long Jin said with a smile. I reckon your battle will come soon. In a situation where they can't deal with me and don't want their morale to drop, they'll look for trouble at the Emperor Tribulation and Emperor stage. The two of you will be in trouble soon. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Chuan and Long Jin. This is a good thing. I can't wait for them to come. We'll kill them one by one. Lin Chuan was energized. If you want to kill, I won't stop you. However, you must remember one thing. You have to listen to the arrangements. You can accept their challenges once every half a day. No matter how good your condition is, you have to fight once every half a day. Night Sorrow said. Yes. Lin Chuan and Long Jin nodded. You two don't want to fight consecutively? Lu Qi looked at Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Yes, but the Grand Commander's arrangement must be reasonable. Even if it's not, it's for our sake. Therefore, we'll just follow the orders. Lin Chuan said. Long Jin smiled and patted Lin Chuan's shoulder. He had the same idea as Lin Chuan. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi looked at each other and nodded. They knew that this was a brother. Trust, absolute trust, and unconditional trust. This also showed Night Sorrow's charisma. In fact, just as Night Sorrow had estimated, the Demon Wings clan was currently unable to gain an advantage at Night Sorrow's level. They planned to suppress the 100 races of the celestial realm at the Emperor Tribulation level. The morale of the battle was very important. The Demon Wings clan needed this morale. They had to prepare for the final battle. They didn't care about the price. Now was the last era of the last reincarnation cycle of the celestial realm. It was the last era in which the Demon Wings clan of Heaven Wasteland would fight to the death with the 100 races of the celestial realm. When the new supreme world was formed, the Heaven Wasteland domain would shatter. Lin Chuan followed Night Sorrow's instructions. After the morning battle, he would rest directly. No matter what the Demon Wings clan said, it was useless. He had to rest after a single battle. In the evening, he would fight another battle. That was 2 battles a day. While Lin Chuan was fighting, Long Jin cheered him on and engraved words on the battle plate. He didn't accept the Emperor's challenge. It wasn't that he didn't want to accept, but that he would wait until tomorrow. There was no hurry to fight, and they could fight one battle at a time. The next day, Long Jin, like Lin Chuan, won 2 battles peacefully. Lin Chuan and Long Jin didn't ask, but Night Sorrow still took the initiative to explain the reason. This arrangement was for morale. The Demon Wings clan came to fight to gain morale for the overall situation of the Demon Wings clan. Night Sorrow's battle was to wear down the aggressive morale of the Demon Wings clan. Let the Demon Wings clan suffer under the attack. Their morale would slowly be exhausted, and without morale, their combat power would be low. Night Sorrow still wanted to extend this mode of battle. There was no such thing as a secret in the world. Even if the Demon Wings clan blocked the news that this battle didn't go well, the Demon Wings clan would still know, and that would create an impact. Night Sorrow's purpose was to seize morale for the celestial realm. The Demon Wings clan launched the battle mode to pursue the morale. The Grand Elder understood this principle, Lu Qi understood it, and after Night Sorrow explained it, Lin Chuan, Long Jin, and the others also understood. Lin Chuan and Long Jin each fought for 3 days. Night Sorrow fought again. The Demon Wings clan didn't fight, so Night Sorrow took the initiative to fight. As long as the Demon Wings clan's first Tribulation Realm cultivators came, Night Sorrow would challenge them one by one. Night Sorrow wasn't afraid that the Demon Wings clan would avoid the battle. If they did, they would lose. Face slapping. Night Sorrow was slapping the face instead. He wanted to trample on the morale of the Demon Wings clan. Night Sorrow's tyrannical strength and tyrannical style made Mo Zhantien not dare to let the First Tribulation Realm cultivators follow the team to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. If they didn't accept the battle, they would lose face. If they accepted the battle, they would lose their lives. Night Sorrow killed 13 Demon Wings clan's First Tribulation Realm cultivators, which made the First Tribulation Realm cultivators of the Demon Wings clan not dare to come to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. This news spread in the celestial desolate city, and many people saw it. This made Night Sorrow's reputation rise a lot, because what Night Sorrow could do, others couldn't. Chapter 2093. The Grand Elder's original body in the heavenly wasteland city communicated with the incarnation of the city lord and convened a meeting of the elders. In the meeting hall of the heavenly wasteland tower, the members of the elders of the 100 races were gathered. This time, the members were all present. Even the leaders of the Divine Beast clan were present. In the past, many members of the elders of the 100 races did not live in the heavenly wasteland city and did not express their opinions. They just received orders from the elders of the 100 races. This time, the Demon Wing clan came aggressively and challenged one-on-one. The members of the elders of the 100 races who received the news were all present in the heavenly wasteland city. Everyone has seen the situation during this period. In this battle, Night Sorrow killed 13 Demon Wing clan Emperor Tribulation cultivators and won 9 battles. He showed the power of the Celestial Realm cultivators. One man and one spear, he killed so many Demon Wing clan Emperor Tribulation cultivators that they did not dare to step onto the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. This achievement is unprecedented, and none of us here can achieve it. He is the human emperor of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm and the pride of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, the Grand Elder said. Yes, he is the power of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. He represents the strength of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm. The Heavenly Astral King nodded. He admired Night Sorrow very much, and now he admired him even more. Great Elder, please make an announcement about the human sovereign. He now has the ability to protect himself, Lu Qi said. The Grand Elder nodded. In every reincarnation, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm will have a body of merit, but some can become the human emperor, and some can't. But we can be sure that in the years when the human emperor existed, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm were most conservative and not suppressed. In this reincarnation cycle, there was no human emperor before the 8th era, but at the end of the 8th era and the beginning of the 9th era, the human emperor appeared. Today, I want to announce that the 9th era's human emperor will officially appear in front of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm and the Devil Wing race of Heaven Wasteland. He has the human emperor's seal and the human Tao's sacred scripture, the Tao Te Ching. His power of merit cultivation is that of the virtuous emperor. His title in the Heaven Wasteland Tower is Immortal Godly Emperor, and he once withstood the attack of the Black Lotus of Destruction. Everyone has heard of the Black Lotus of World Destruction. In the previous reincarnation, the human emperor of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm failed to pass the Deluxe Merit Emperor Tribulation and the God-Destroying Tribulation. However, he had already passed the Deluxe Merit Emperor Tribulation. The price he paid was to sleep for 700 years. Most of you should know who he is. He is the great commander of Samsara Island, Night Sorrow. He is the Night Sorrow who is currently on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, the Grand Elder said. After listening to the Grand Elder's words, there were whispers in the meeting hall. Some people knew about this, while others didn't. Even those who knew didn't know the details. For example, there weren't many people who knew about the Deluxe Merit Emperor Tribulation, so the impact was relatively large. Everyone has seen Night Sorrow's contributions to the Celestial Realm. We have also seen his determination to defend the territory of the Celestial Realm. This time, I have gathered everyone here to make arrangements for him. The Deluxe Merit Emperor Tribulation is the recognition of the heavens. In the celestial realm, the 100 Races Alliance must also be recognized, the Grand Elder said. Yes, there has to be an explanation. Without a clear name, it would be inappropriate for anyone to yell at him. Long Yixing said. Normally, if one's moral character is passable, and his cultivation is at the Tribulation Emperor Tribulation, he can be a law-enforcing patriarch. Commander Night Sorrow is a human emperor, and his moral character has already been recognized by the heavens. His cultivation is also at the Tribulation Emperor Tribulation. He is a genius who can fight above his level, so the position of law-enforcing patriarch should be the lowest arrangement, Xiao Jun said. It is not appropriate for a human emperor to be law-enforcing patriarch. He should be the leader of the 100 races in the celestial realm, Qin Qinjie said. Law-enforcing Patriarch Xiao and Patriarch Qin are both right. I have talked with the city lord and King Yiwu. Night Sorrow is strong and capable, but we can't throw a huge responsibility to him. That will hinder his growth. Today, I will tell everyone that Night Sorrow will be the law-enforcing patriarch in the celestial realm. At the same time, he will be the young city lord of the heavenly desolate city and the divine capital. His orders will be the same as the orders of the Grand Elder. Does anyone have any objections? If not, I will announce it to the celestial realm. The Grand Elder stood up and announced his plans and arrangements. Does anyone have any objections? Night Sorrow is qualified and capable. He will use blood, his own blood and his opponent's blood. He will prove to the millions of creatures in the celestial realm what a real practitioner is and what a human emperor is. The Golden Dragon King stood up and said. Following the Golden Dragon King's words, all the members of the Council of Elders in the meeting hall stood up and bowed to the Grand Elder. Strike the drum and ring the bell 18 times. Announce the news to the world. The Grand Elder gave the final order. 9-inch 2D the ancient bronze bell in the heavenly desolate city rang. The melodious sound of the bell echoed in the sky and stretched for millions of miles. This was the sound of the official beginning of a great era. The heavenly desolate tower shone brightly. 2 rows of golden words appeared and leaped in the sky above the heavenly desolate city. The 2 rows of words were Immortal Godly Emperor Night Sorrow and Human Emperor Night Sorrow. The birth of the human emperor was naturally supported by the original body of the celestial realm. Night Sorrow turned around and looked at the words above the heavenly desolate city. He looked at the cultivators of the 100 races on the city gate and at the city gate. Then the original body and the doppelganger, who could no longer cultivate, stood together and raised their weapons at the same time. I, Night Sorrow, am here. As long as I stand, the heavenly desolate demon-winged clan will not be able to do anything in the celestial realm. If they come, we will fight. In the war, you will see the figure of Night Sorrow. We will start a new era. The 8th era will be the God's era, and the 9th era will be the Demon Slayer era. Fight! I am invincible. After speaking, Night Sorrow turned around and looked at the camp of the heavenly desolate demon-winged clan. At the same time, his body flashed with golden light. That was the golden light of merit. His identity as the human emperor had been announced to the world, so there was no need for him to deliberately suppress it. Mo Zhantian's expression was very ugly. Everything was going in a direction that was unfavorable to the heavenly desolate demon-winged clan. So what if the human emperor is born? Thousands of reincarnations have passed. Are there any human emperors with the body of merit in the celestial realm? Who can do anything to the heavenly desolate demon-winged clan? Remember, as long as the demonic imperial city is not broken, the demonic imperial city will be with you in the celestial realm. We can use the demonic imperial city as a base to attack the new supreme world. You will all die, haha. Mo Zhantian laughed. Although he was laughing, Mo Zhantian was very angry. The overall situation was originally in the heavenly desolate demon-winged clan's favor. He had cultivated hard for 8 eras, cultivated to the tribulation of the 9 emperors, and cultivated to the unity of spirit. However, he was still in a passive position. The heavenly desolate city had the heavenly desolate city's city lord, so he could not take it down. Now, Night Sorrow, who had a strong appeal, had appeared, influencing the situation in the celestial realm. Chapter 2094. Let's go. Mo Zhantian turned around and left with his people. He couldn't let his people see the aura of the 100 races of the celestial realm skyrocket. It was extremely disadvantageous to their aura. F*CK, what the hell is this? They took the initiative to challenge us, and now they've become soft eggplants. Lin Chuan cursed. He still wanted to fight. Forget it. It's fine as long as we win. We'll fight whenever they come, Yishan said. Lin Chuan, Long Jin, you guys stay here. Night Sorrow, you come back with me. There are some things to take care of, the Grand Elder said as he stood up. Nodding at Lin Chuan and Long Jin, Night Sorrow followed the Grand Elder back to the heavenly desolate city. When Night Sorrow and the Grand Elder returned, the cultivators who were standing at the city gate all stepped back and made way for them. After entering the city gate, the Grand Elder stopped and took 2 steps to the side. Everyone, pay your respects to the human sovereign. Pay our respects to the human sovereign. The cultivators of the 100 races of the celestial realm all bowed to Night Sorrow. Everyone, including the Golden Dragon King, the Heavenly Astral King, Huang Ling, the Green Rock Patriarch, and the others. After speaking, the Grand Elder also bowed to Night Sorrow. Grand Elder, you can't do this. What are you doing? Night Sorrow was anxious. He took 2 steps forward and helped the Grand Elder up. In private, I can be your elder, but as a member of the 100 races of the celestial realm, everyone has to respect the human sovereign. The Grand Elder insisted on saluting and then stood up straight. Everyone, please rise. Night Sorrow is young and doesn't deserve your courtesy. Night Sorrow returned the salute. You deserve it. The energy body of Tran Hung, the mayor of the celestial realm, appeared. I have other things to deal with, so I'm not in the celestial realm. It's a pity that we're not in the celestial realm. In the future, you can make all the decisions in the war against the Demon Wing clan. I believe in you and in every race of the celestial realm. We can overcome the difficulties. After saying a few words, Tran Hung's energy body left. Night Sorrow knew that Tran Hung was busy with other matters. There were still some extraterrestrial forces that needed to be dealt with, so Night Sorrow didn't know what was going on. After that, the Grand Elder brought Night Sorrow, a group of law enforcement elders, and the Council of Elders of the mythological beast clan into his pocket dimension. Now is a special time. The mayor is dealing with some extraterrestrial forces, but the situation is not optimistic. Everyone wants to get a share of the pie and gain some benefits when the new and old supreme worlds are replaced. King Yawu is in seclusion again to make a breakthrough. Therefore, the celestial realm is in a period of weakness. We have to get through this period. Night Sorrow, you have to work hard. The Grand Elder looked at Night Sorrow. Grand Elder, you are too polite. I will fight according to the arrangements of the Council of Elders, Night Sorrow said. Ha! This is something you don't know. I've talked to the city lord, King Yawu, and everyone else here. I've also announced how to deal with your situation. You're now the law enforcement elder of the Council of Elders. You're also the successor to the city lord of the godly capital and heavenly desolate city. You can decide how you want to fight in the future. The great elder smiled at Yishan. This is not appropriate. I am young and inexperienced. Don't cause trouble because of dissatisfaction, Night Sorrow said. He didn't care about these things. It is not inappropriate. Just accept it. At the very least, no one can mess around with you. Some unfair things can happen to anyone, but not you, Emperor Tang said. Hearing Tang Zong's words, Xiao Jun stood up. Law Enforcement Elder Yi, you're magnanimous and magnanimous. You won't argue with Xiao Jun, but Xiao Jun still wants to apologize. However, Xiao Jun also hopes that Law Enforcement Elder Yi can rest assured. Xiao Jun has always been thinking about the overall situation of the Heaven Realm. We already talked about this last time. Elder Xiao, Please don't think too much about it. I was exiled once, and I was indeed angry at that time. However, this was also part of my growth. That time, I received Master Wushuang's inheritance. After that, Martial Uncle took great care of me. I should be the one thanking Elder Shao, Yishang said with a smile. Since you said so, I feel much better. The knot in my heart has been completely untied. I will treat you to a drink later. Xiao Jun saluted Night Sorrow. Ha! I have to accept this. Let's have a drink together later. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow, I have already informed everyone that you are the law enforcement elder. Your orders are valid in the Council of Elders and in the Heaven Wasteland Army. You can make the decision on the deployment of the Heaven Wasteland Army. The Grand Elder went straight to the point and spoke of his purpose of looking for Night Sorrow. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. Then, Night Sorrow and the others left the Grand Elder's small space world. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow went to the encampment of the Heaven Wasteland Army and found the commander. The 8th commander of the Heaven Wasteland Army, Lu Chang, pays his respects to Law Enforcement Elder Knight. The commander of the Heaven Wasteland Army bowed to Night Sorrow. How about this? You take your men and report to Samsara Island. You can communicate with the other forces. You can practice Samsara Island's tactical formations and combat skills, Night Sorrow said. Patriarch Knight, does that mean our 8th alliance will belong to Samsara Island from now on? Lu Chang's eyes lit up. Yes, go. Go report to Nan Yong. You are all commanders, but Nan Yong and the others are more familiar with Samsara Island. Show them some respect. Night Sorrow nodded. Don't worry, Patriarch Yi. Lu Chang will take care of this. Lu Chang was very excited. J initial E% Hair Samsara Island was now one of the signboards of the 100 Races Alliance and was a very powerful force. The members of the Heaven Wasteland Army were very envious because the Heaven Wasteland Army, which used to be the same as them, was no longer on the same level as them. Also, inform the 1st Army and the Deicide Squad to report to Tianhuang City, Night Sorrow said to Lu Chang. After making the necessary arrangements, Night Sorrow arrived at the gate of Nirvana City. Sister Xian, are they here yet? How can they be so fast? They're scared of you. Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. I'll ask the 1st Army and the Deicide Squad to come back. From now on, they'll stay here and watch the next battle and learn from it, Night Sorrow said. Lin Piaomiao, Yang Lei, Aoi, and the others all nodded. That's good. We still have to fight. We can't delay our cultivation. Night Sorrow said and landed on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge in a flash. After arriving at a suitable place, he stayed behind to cultivate while his doppelganger met up with Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Captain, what's the situation? Will the Patriarch be unhappy with us fighting like this? Long Jin asked when he saw Night Sorrow return. Chapter 2095. High Position. Captain, what's your position in Tianhuang City? Long Jin asked in surprise. The Grand Elder has arranged a position for me as an elder of the law enforcement clan. However, you have to behave yourselves. The rules of Tianhuang City are rules. If you break them, you will be punished, Night Sorrow said. An elder of the law enforcement clan? That's impressive. That's definitely a high position in the 100 Races Alliance. Lin Chuan was also surprised. Also, the Lord of Tianhuang City has decided to make Night Sorrow the young Lord of Tianhuang City. That's impressive. In the Celestial Realm, even an elder of the law enforcement clan has to take orders from Night Sorrow, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Long Jin, bring some wine. When should we celebrate? Lin Chuan waved his hand at Long Jin. Long Jin smiled and took out a few jars of wine. Not only did he give some to Lin Chuan, but he also gave some to the Grand Elder and Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow has been promoted. Why are you so excited? The Grand Elder asked with a smile. Look at the first chapter of the book. Grand Elder, You don't know. We're not afraid of fighting, but we're afraid of encountering an insensible commander. If we're led into a ditch, then we'll suffer in silence. In the past, Grand Elder Lin and the Great Demon King suffered such a loss. However, the captain is an elder of the law enforcement clan. That won't happen. The captain is an expert in commanding battles. We don't have to worry about that. If we die in a real battle, we won't feel aggrieved. Grand Elder, you can understand that, right? Long Jean said with a smile. Indeed. You should be at ease with the current situation. The Council of Elders is also at ease with you. Although you're young and impetuous, everyone in Samsara Island is reliable. This is recognized by everyone. You have to work hard too. You can't be an emperor, the Grand Elder said to Long Jean. Grand Elder, I haven't cultivated for long. Other than the captain, no one in the celestial realm can compare to me, Long Jean said. Don't be satisfied with your current situation. You must have the mindset to improve yourself. There is no end to cultivation. Hard work will eventually pay off, the Grand Elder said with a chuckle. His main body was cultivating on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge while Night Sorrow's doppelganger wielded the Blood Chelan evil-slaying spear to guard the bridge. What followed was a month of peace. During this month, the demon-winged race did not make any moves. Mo Zhantian did not send out any more troops. He knew in his heart that at this time, the momentum of the 100 races in the celestial realm was at its peak. He wanted to lie low for a while before fighting again. Furthermore, he still had some backup plans that were not in place yet. Since the Demon Wing clan's current tribulation of one sovereign cultivators couldn't take down Night Sorrow, Mo Zhantian contacted the extraterritorial world that had formed an alliance with the Demon Wing clan, asking for reinforcements from the extraterritorial world. There were many extraterrestrial worlds, but they couldn't be compared to the 100 races of the Celestial Realm and the demon-winged race of Heaven Wasteland because they didn't have many members. Although there weren't many of them, there were many experts among them. They were all races with long inheritances, and even Mo Zhantian acknowledged their battle prowess. Currently, they had reached an agreement with the demon-winged race of Heaven Wasteland to occupy the Celestial Realm. After occupying the new Supreme World, there were more than a dozen extraterritorial worlds that were autonomous. Mo Zhantian had already contacted them. In addition, in Heaven Wasteland, the most famous tribulation of Emperor Cultivator had already entered the tribulation of Emperor level. However, he had yet to come out of seclusion, so Mo Zhantian was waiting. Mo Zhantian was waiting, and so was Night Sorrow. He could afford to wait. His cultivation was going smoothly, and his own momentum had already taken shape. The Emperor Realm cultivated the momentum of heaven and earth, borrowing the momentum of heaven and earth to cultivate a domain. A domain was the symbol of an emperor. Tribulation of Emperor cultivators strengthened their domain. Their own domain was not only formed by borrowing the momentum of heaven and earth, but also integrated with their own momentum. How many tribulation of Emperor cultivators were determined by how many tribulation of Emperor cultivators were involved. 10% was equivalent to 1 tribulation of Emperor level, and 20% was equivalent to 2 tribulation of Emperor. The cultivation of one's own momentum was not easy. Wanting to integrate one's own momentum into heaven and earth was not easy. Before the tribulation of Emperor, cultivators comprehended the momentum of heaven and earth, following the heavenly Tao. Tribulation of Emperor cultivators cultivated their own momentum, integrating it into heaven and earth, which was rejected by the heavenly Tao. It could be said that they were going against the heavens. The difficulty of cultivation was completely different from before. After all, it involved the Tao. Every cultivator had their own cultivation philosophy. When one reached the tribulation of Emperor level, they would form their own Tao. Night Sorrow was currently focusing on the reincarnation Tao. It was extremely difficult to integrate the reincarnation Tao into heaven and earth, forming a domain that he could completely control. The cultivation of one's own momentum was going against the heavens. Night Sorrow also cultivated the reincarnation Tao, which was a combination of attributes, which made it even more difficult. The area where Night Sorrow's main body was located was where his soul power had once integrated into, so it was very easy to cultivate. However, it was also extremely difficult to raise his cultivation level. Fortunately, Night Sorrow was the virtuous sovereign emperor. The heavenly Tao's rejection was weak, so he could cultivate quickly. However, what made Night Sorrow a little conflicted was whether to activate the beginning attribute now or not. If he activated it and cultivated it, then he could improve together with the reincarnation Tao. Otherwise, he would have to go back and cultivate it in the future, which would be a waste of time. If he started cultivating the beginning attribute now, Night Sorrow was worried that it would cause some problems. Unable to make a decision, and King Yewu was in seclusion, Night Sorrow's clone communicated with the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder was clear about Night Sorrow's attributes. In the end, the Grand Elder's opinion was that they could give it a try. After the Grand Elder made this decision, he explained the reason to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's situation was different from others. With the forbidden attribute, the Emperor Tribulation that he initiated didn't count. The next epoch would definitely be the God-destroying tribulation. Therefore, during this period, Night Sorrow didn't have to worry too much about cultivating. After receiving the Grand Elder's opinion, Night Sorrow's main body began to combine the forbidden attribute, beginning attribute. With the void, space-time, and infinity attributes, Night Sorrow didn't have any difficulty fusing the beginning attribute. He completed the combination in 3 days. After the combination, it was at the peak of the intermediate level. The level of the forbidden attribute was determined by the lowest attribute achievement in the combination of attributes. Night Sorrow's infinity attribute was stuck at the Sovereign Emperor realm bottleneck. He had no choice. His main body cultivated his own force. When Night Sorrow's clone wasn't fighting, he cultivated the infinity spear art. Now, other than the infinity attribute, he didn't need to cultivate the other attributes of heaven and earth. The first army and the god-slaying team had all arrived at Tianhuang City. After learning about Night Sorrow's battle results and situation, they were very anxious. They hoped to fight together with Night Sorrow. Jun Xuanji and Zhu Jiuyun had also arrived. Their strength had increased rapidly. Jun Xuanji, in particular, had rejected the negative effects of Mo Tianji's memories. However, he had absorbed all the cultivation insights. He had improved without any bottlenecks. In a short time, he had already reached the Sovereign Emperor realm. In addition, the higher-ups of the Humanitarian League had also arrived. This was because the Nirvana City Gate was now guarded by the Humanitarian League. Chapter 2096. Peng Wanli and Kei Wu had both entered the Imperial Emperor realm. Although they were only early-stage Imperial Emperors, they were considered mid-tier. When the Great Elder who was patrolling the city gate saw Wu Feng, he nodded seriously. Very good. How is Ancestor Feng? Grand Elder, I don't understand what you're saying. You might have mistaken me for someone else. Wu Feng cupped his hands and bowed to the Grand Elder. Ha! I can recognize the wind origin force of the Feng family. You don't have to hide it. The 100 races of the Celestial Realm and the Wind Realm have been allies for many years. The Grand Elder smiled. Grand Elder, you've misunderstood. I'm not trying to hide anything. I know I'm from the Wind Realm, but other than my father, I don't have any interaction with the Wind Realm. There are many reasons. Wu Feng explained. No interaction. It seems there are some things. Don't worry, come find me later. I know one of your ancestors, and we have a good relationship. I'll see if I can help you solve some problems. The Grand Elder nodded to Wu Feng and left. He just walked around Tianhuang City. It was a habit. Wu Feng, your family might be from another realm, an ally of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm, Lin Piaomiao said. She knew about the Wind Realm and came to this conclusion from the Grand Elder's words. In the past, I had cold poison in my body, so some things weren't obvious. After Night Sorrow dealt with the cold poison, there was a strange energy in my body. I don't know what it is, but it should be the wind origin force that the Grand Elder talked about. Wu Feng nodded. Sister Xian, Wu Feng, and I sneaked into the 9 Yin clan's base once, but we found that everything had changed. That area was different from before. Even the drowning pond that left a deep impression in Wu Feng's mind was gone. Zhang Ning explained some details. She and Wu Feng investigated carefully, but they couldn't find any clues. In the end, the clairvoyant divined that some time ago, the energy in the 9 Yin clan's territory changed, and everything disappeared. Looks like things aren't as simple as they seem. Later on, I'll check the records and see if there are any clues. Lin Piaomiao nodded at Wu Feng. Sister Xian, the Grand Elder sent Wu Feng over. Let's ask the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder should know about the celestial realm, Zhang Ning said. In the evening, Lin Piaomiao brought Wu Feng and Zhang Ning to see the Grand Elder and told him about Wu Feng's situation. The Wind Realm and the 9 Yin clan are forces that ordinary people don't know about. They're both foreign worlds. The difference for the celestial realm is that one is an ally, while the other is an enemy. The Wind Realm is an ally of the 100 races of the celestial realm. They're willing to fight with us against the demon wings of Heaven Wasteland. The 9 Yin world is different. They're not willing. They want to take advantage of the situation. When the City Lord gave them a choice, their main force in the celestial realm, the 9 Yin clan, chose to run away and left the celestial realm, the Grand Elder said. Grand Elder, with Wu Feng's cultivation, he can't return to his family. As for the 9 Yin clan, I don't want to talk about the grudge between us anymore. However, my father was beaten into the drowning pond. As a son, there are some things I must do, Wu Feng said. You're right. Later, I'll contact the Wind Realm. The Feng family doesn't have many people. They'll be happy to know of your existence. The Grand Elder nodded at Wu Feng. Lin Piaomiao brought Wu Feng and Zhang Ning out of the Grand Elder's small world. Wu Feng, things are clear now. However, you have to know that if the 9 Yin clan fights against the 100 races of the celestial realm, you'll have to make a choice, Lin Piaomiao said. Don't worry, Battle Emperor. I know what's right and wrong. Wu Feng nodded. It's been so many years. You still don't want to change the way you address me. Suit yourself. Lin Piaomiao shook her head. When Wu Feng and Zhang Ning got married, Lin Piaomiao told Wu Feng that she and Zhang Ning were sisters. He could call her sister in the future, but Wu Feng still called her Battle Emperor. Sister Xian, my mighty brother-in-law has been staying on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge all this time. Doesn't he know to come back and rest? He's still a little slow. Zhang Ning looked at Night Sorrow's figure on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Don't make up stories. Be careful that Night Sorrow's brothers don't strangle you. He's cultivating now. Lin Piaomiao smiled. She was happy that Zhang Ning was by her side. Other than the Yi clan, Zhang Ning was her only relative. Where's Xiaokei? That little guy used to pay his respects to me. Now, he's gone. Zhang Ning said. Lin Piaomiao's child was her most important relative. He's in the 9 domain world. He's cultivating in Night Sorrow's old cultivation area. Lin Piaomiao said. Zhang Ning was stunned for a moment before he asked, Are you sure you're not mistaken, Sister Xian? His cultivation base has risen too quickly. Although his bloodline and talent are good, it's not a good thing for his cultivation base to rise too quickly. What Yi Shang and I think is that he needs to suppress it and stabilize his cultivation base. Lin Piaomiao shook her head. On the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, Night Sorrow's original body was sitting at the top of the Clear Sky Pagoda. He was cultivating his own force in the time acceleration. Actually, this force was also called Tao. Why was Mo Tianji's original body so powerful and hard to damage? Because her cultivation level was high and her body was filled with Tao. ZT, forever. Forever. Exempt. O Fei looks at little E says for the signature of an Emperor Realm Cultivator was the domain. The signature of an Emperor Realm Cultivator was the Tao domain. It was a domain that merged with one's own Tao. Night Sorrow's current cultivation was in 2 directions. One was the reincarnation Tao domain, and the other was the primordial Tao domain. Everything was going smoothly. However, Knight Sorrow knew that it wasn't that easy to raise his cultivation level. Even if he felt it, even if there was no bottleneck, he still needed time to reach the second Emperor realm. The heavenly Tao determined that there would only be one Emperor Tribulation every 100 billion years. This showed how difficult it was for an Emperor Tribulation cultivator to raise his cultivation level. Knight Sorrow's clone, Lin Chuan, and Long Jin stayed in the area isolated from the Nirvana storm by the Array Formation. They were drinking wine. Because of the Nirvana storm, only emperors could survive on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Knight Sorrow and the others decided to block the demon-winged clan. In order to be more comfortable, Knight Sorrow set up an array formation to isolate the Nirvana storm. This way, the three of them would be more comfortable. Actually, it wasn't just the three of them. After the array formation was set up, they stayed behind a little. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi's clone, who were worried about Knight Sorrow, also entered the array formation. The Grand Elder told Knight Sorrow about Wufeng's arrival and what happened to him. Big brother Wufeng no longer has any feelings for the Nine Yin clan. Even a vicious tiger would not eat its own cubs. When Wufeng's mother attacked, she destroyed the most precious mother-son relationship in the world, Yi Shan whispered. He felt sorrow for Wufeng. Chapter 2097. So you're saying that the Wind Realm will help brother Wufeng? Knight Sorrow asked. The Wind Realm's Feng family doesn't have many people. In fact, they're pitifully few. There might not even be 20 true core members, but these 20 people are all experts because they have the wind origin power bestowed upon them by the heavenly Tao. Wufeng has the wind origin power, which is the mark of a core member of the Wind Realm's Feng family. If he's a core member, then his father is naturally one too. The Nine Yin tribe tricked their core member, so how can this matter be resolved so easily? Whose child isn't a child, the Grand Elder said. Then what's the situation with the Nine Yin tribe? Are they also very powerful? Lin Chuan asked. The Nine Yin tribe in the Celestial Realm used to be a gateway to the Celestial Realm. It's a gateway for the members of the Nine Yin tribe to train and understand the Celestial Realm. You can't use the Nine Yin tribe to measure the strength of the Nine Yin tribe, the Grand Elder explained. This kind of extraterrestrial force is very difficult to deal with. Knight Sorrow shook his head. In a war, the ones who decide the outcome are the top cultivators. Right now, only the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance and the Devil Wing race of Wasteland have top cultivators. Even if extraterrestrial forces like the Nine Yin tribe are strong, they don't have a backbone, so they have to rely on them, the Grand Elder said with a smile. Then why don't they rely on the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance? Why do they have to go against us and become the Devil Wing race's lackeys? I'm really puzzled, Long Jin muttered. Then the Grand Elder gave an answer. All along, the Celestial Realm had been ruled by the 100 Races Alliance. Some extraterrestrial forces couldn't obtain much benefits from negotiating with the Celestial Realm's 100 races. However, they could negotiate with the Devil Wing race of Wasteland. The Devil Wing race was able to make promises in the midst of benefits that didn't belong to them. This was the fundamental difference. Some of the outer realms with great wolf-like natures were willing to fight alongside the Devil-Winged clan in order to obtain greater benefits. After listening to the Grand Elder's answer, Knight Sorrow's trio understood that this was a choice. It was a choice between risk and benefit. The Celestial Realm is the world of the 100 Races Alliance. It's not that other forces can't develop, but they can't do it without a bottom line. If you insist on giving them a large portion of the territory, and then we can't ask about it, that in itself is a hidden danger. That's why we aren't willing. In the future, it will be even more impossible for them to become nobles in the Nine Domains world. Lu Qi said. It's like if someone comes to our house and insists on giving them a living room or a bedroom. If their table manners are too unsightly, we'll start fighting, Long Jin said. I like your aura the most. Cultivators should be like this. If you're not convinced, then fight. Fight until you're convinced. The 100 Races Alliance of the Celestial Realm is determined to do so, Lu Qi said. Night Sorrow, there's still an era left. Many things will happen in this era, but one thing is of the utmost importance, and that is the safety of the 9 domains world. After this cycle ends, the deserted world will be destroyed, and the celestial realm will become a subsupreme world. At that time, the 9 domains world will be the core of the human race and the 100 races alliance. If you don't object, we should do some appropriate migration, because the cultivation conditions in the celestial realm will be much worse, the Grand Elder said. Hearing the Grand Elder's words, Night Sorrow fell into deep thought. This was a huge problem, one that concerned the future of the 9 domains world. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow looked up at the Grand Elder. Grand Elder, since we're on this topic, there are some things I have to say first, because I have some concerns. Okay, go ahead. The Grand Elder nodded. The 9 domains world used to be very stable because I wanted to fight for the world. I wanted to fight, so the 9 domains world suffered a lot that shouldn't have. There were even outsiders. I have to be responsible for the 9 domains world. In the future, migration is possible, but first they have to abide by the rules of the 9 domains world. Also, those with higher cultivation than me can't enter. Even if you think I'm selfish, I can't do anything about it. Night Sorrow said. He didn't think it was appropriate to talk like this, but for the native creatures of the 9 domains world, Night Sorrow had to say it. Ha! Don't worry, you have the final say. No one will use force against you, and no one has the qualifications to do so. Also, there will be people who think you're selfish, but that's from a narrow point of view. People who look at the bigger picture will understand that this is the most effective way to control the stability of the 9 domains world. I hope that the future sovereign world will be stable, and all unstable factors must be eliminated. The Grand Elder said with a smile. You're the Realm Lord, and those with lower cultivation than you can't cause any waves in the 9 domains world. Therefore, we won't allow those with higher cultivation than you to enter. This is the most effective way to control the stability of the 9 domains world. We will all support your decision. Of course, you have to cultivate quickly. Otherwise, when will we be able to enter? Lu Qi said with a smile. 7th Elder, there are some things you don't understand. Night Sorrow shook his head. You're still talking about me. Tell me what I don't understand. Lu Qi smiled and looked at Night Sorrow. These things will come to a conclusion after an epoch. At that time, I'll still be alive. That means I'll have passed the God-destroying tribulation. After passing the God-destroying tribulation, who will I be afraid of? Whoever wants to enter can enter. On the other hand, I can't care about what happens after an epoch. My family still needs 7th Elder and Grand Elder to look after. Night Sorrow said. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, everyone fell silent. Lu Qi had indeed forgotten this point. Night Sorrow only had 1 epoch's time. You're all silent. You don't believe me. Night Sorrow said. We believe you. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi looked at Night Sorrow and nodded. I also believe in myself. Night Sorrow smiled. Night Sorrow, don't laugh. I'm not being perfunctory. I really believe in you. You're different from the masters who have been born in countless reincarnations. You're fundamentally different. Let me tell you the reasons why I believe in you. First, in the past celestial realm, it was very difficult for taboo attributes to appear. Even if it did, it was only a single attribute. No one was like you, having 2 taboo attributes at the same time. Second, in the past, there were no cultivators who had achieved success in both physical and spiritual cultivation. Even if there were, it had nothing to do with taboo attributes and the body of merit. Third, and most important, you belong to the new supreme world. You're the first human sovereign of the new supreme world. You have the luck of the rising sun in your body. At the same time, you've also gained the recognition of the origin of the celestial realm. You've risen with the luck of 2 supreme worlds. This is unstoppable. Tell me, do I have a reason to believe in you? The Grand Elder said. He was cheering for Night Sorrow and giving Night Sorrow more reasons to believe in himself. Forever you free L. Look at little K say 7y. Chapter 2098. It seems like there are still many reasons for me to believe in myself. Then I'll just have to work hard. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. He knew that the Grand Elder and the 7 clan elders were saying these words to support and encourage him. Also, I would like to correct your point of view. Don't think that you brought anything bad to the 9-domain world. Without you, there wouldn't be the 9-domain world today. You didn't do anything wrong to anyone, nor do you owe anyone anything. Is the 9-domain world not good now? You brought them a brand new world. The other 9 domain worlds will be promoted to the Supreme Domain world and merge with the cultivators of the 100 races. Don't tell me that they don't work hard and live in mediocrity, looking up to giants, the Grand Elder said. Thank you, Grand Elder, for clearing my doubts. Night Sorrow understands. Night Sorrow nodded. As a person, you will never be able to satisfy everyone's wishes and needs. It's enough to satisfy the majority. There's nothing perfect in this world. Don't give yourself more burdens. We feel uncomfortable just looking at you. Lu Qi said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that the Grand Elder and Lu Qi had experienced many things and were wise. Mo Zhantian didn't bring anyone over, but he didn't leave either. He found a stronghold in the Tianhuang Mountains and stationed his people there. Normally, he wouldn't do this because he would be easily attacked. However, he dared to do so now because the Celestial Realm wouldn't easily start a war. Without a war, Night Sorrow cultivated in peace. His doppelganger still focused on cultivating the limitless spear arts. He wanted to increase his proficiency in the limitless spear arts. Night Sorrow's main body would get up every once in a while to cultivate the limitless spear arts, drawing the limitless energy into his body. While cultivating the precept domain, he also tried to increase the limitless attribute of the heavenly Tao. 2 months later, the demon-winged clan came again under Mo Zhantian's lead. However, there were still no Emperor Tribulation cultivators. You're here to die again. Life and death, life and death. Can't you tell? Lin Chuan stood up and sighed. At that moment, Night Sorrow, who was wielding the blood-Kirin evil-slaying spear, trembled. At the same time, his main body, which was cultivating the limitless attribute, was also shaken. The limitless attribute that he cultivated lacked a sense of continuity. Life and death itself was a cycle, a process that repeated itself over and over again. It was the process of reincarnation between life and death. Enlightenment. A moment was enough. Night Sorrow's main body's understanding of the limitless attribute's power of heaven and earth increased by a fraction. This fraction was like a needle that directly pierced through the bottleneck of Night Sorrow's limitless attribute. Next, Night Sorrow's aura changed. His aura spread out a few times before returning to his body. While Lin Chuan's true self stabilized his realm, Night Sorrow's avatar laughed. Lin Chuan, thank you. Your words enlightened me. You and Long Jin should hurry up and deal with them, then drink to celebrate. Grand Commander, what's going on? Your aura hasn't changed, and you haven't broken through. Lin Chuan didn't take Mo Zhantian and the devil-winged clan's people seriously. He was still conversing with Night Sorrow. My realm hasn't broken through, but the effect of your words is more useful than breaking through a few realms. I'll tell you later. Night Sorrow was extremely happy. The bottleneck of the limitless attribute was too difficult to break through. In the past few days, he didn't have a clue at all. He even doubted if he could break through. Now, this puzzle was solved. To Night Sorrow, the breakthrough of the limitless attribute was an increase in the level and quality of his taboo attribute, breaking through from intermediate to advanced. After hearing Yishang's words, the Great Elder understood. He knew that Yishang's situation was even more important than breaking through to the next realm, and that was to raise the level of his forbidden attribute. Come. Our Grand Commander is in a good mood today, so I'll kill a few cats and dogs to liven things up. Lin Chuan held the battle blade in his right hand and hooked his pinky finger at Mo Zhantian and the others. Too cheap, but I like it. Long Jin smiled at Lin Chuan. The battle started, and Lin Chuan showed his prowess again. Even if he understood him, it was useless. Knowing and being able to break through were two different things. After killing a Devil-Winged Clan's Emperor Tribulation cultivator, Lin Chuan retreated when another Devil-Winged Clan member rushed out. I'm not afraid of you. Our Grand Commander said that we'll only deal with you in the morning. If you have the ability, don't be a coward. I'll deal with you in the afternoon. Lin Chuan kept his battle blade and took a few steps back with a cheap smile on his face. The Devil-Winged Clan's Emperor Tribulation cultivator was so angry that his eyes were burning. However, Lin Chuan didn't care about him anymore. If he doesn't want to play, I'll play with you. But it's still a battle. Who wants to die first? Choose first. Long Jin waved his wave blade and hooked his pinky finger like Lin Chuan. There was no suspense in the battle. The half-dragon Long Jin brandished the tsunami saber, sending out endless saber moves, directly killing his opponent. Friends, the battle in the morning is over. Lin Chuan, go carve your name on the battle plate. Long Jin waved his wave blade and shouted at Lin Chuan. All right. Lin Chuan responded and began to carve the words. Did you see that? Killing the enemy while talking and laughing. You have to learn something. Emperor Tang arrived at the city gate and said to the cultivators of Heaven Wasteland City who were watching. They're too strong. It would be great if we could join the Samsara Island, a captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army said. Don't find excuses for your lack of effort and failure. The Heaven Wasteland Army of Samsara Island has the same starting point as you. It's just that they work harder. Xiao Jun glared at the captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army. Original T. Chapter U, Part 1 Inch Law Enforcing Elder Xiao, the Samsara Island has joint attacks and someone to teach them. We can't do that. The captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army retorted in a low voice. That's the truth. Let's talk about it later. Those secret techniques belong to the commander of the Samsara Island. Xiao Jun agreed with the captain of the Heaven Wasteland Army. It's different in terms of resources. Night Sorrow and the others can accumulate resources. Other than the Saint Spirit Stones obtained from the Samsara Island, the Samsara Island also has the Saint Spirit Stones provided by him. Now, the members of the Demon Wing clan don't wear storage rings when they fight. However, they were robbed of many resources some time ago. Night Sorrow isn't stingy, so the cultivation resources of the Samsara Island are saturated, Emperor Tang said. What does this mean? It means that they are ruthless and can eat meat. Those who are not ruthless and incapable can't even drink soup, Xiao Jun said. At this moment, on the city gate of Heaven Wasteland City, Lin Piaomiao was explaining the key points of the two battles to Xiao Gu. Xiao Gu, watch carefully. You'll be fighting later. Right now, we're lacking an invincible emperor, Lin Chuan said. I understand. I'll fight later. If you guys can do it, there's no reason why I can't. Xiao Gu nodded and was filled with fighting spirit. Chapter 2099. Mo Zhantian was truly angry. He could endure it if he couldn't deal with Night Sorrow. However, the Emperor Tribulation and Emperor Realm experts kept sending themselves to their deaths. Not to mention the losses, it was very embarrassing. The members of the Devil-Winged race were very angry. They couldn't fight, so their auras were suppressed. On the other hand, Night Sorrow and the others were in high spirits. The main reason was that Night Sorrow was very happy because he had made great progress in his cultivation. Don't be a coward. Come out and fight if you have the ability, a Devil-Winged race's Emperor Tribulation cultivator roared at Night Sorrow and the others. What are you shouting for? What are you shouting for? Don't bare your fangs and brandish your claws. I've always been here. Where are your people? Come and fight. Night Sorrow snorted at the Devil-Winged race's shouts. Night Sorrow's words silenced the Devil-Winged race's shouts. He had hit them where it hurt. None of the Emperor Tribulation cultivators in the Devil-Winged Race's camp could challenge Night Sorrow. Even Mo Zhantian admitted this point. They couldn't avoid it even if they wanted to. Why aren't you shouting? Can't you shout? F***ck, all of you shut up. Lin Chuan pointed at the Devil-Winged Race's camp. Seeing Lin Chuan's gesture, the Devil-Winged Race's members all unsheathed their battle blades. However, they were stopped by Mo Zhantian. If a group battle broke out, none of them would be able to return. At this moment, a loud roar came from the Tianhuang city's gate tower. This is so satisfying. Brother-in-law is so domineering. Sang Ning said excitedly. Comfortable. This is how wars should be fought. This is how problems can be solved in comfort. Heavenly Astral Monarch, who was also watching from the city gate tower, said to the Grand Elder who was walking over. Strange. Normally, the Devil-Winged Race wouldn't do this. Could it be that they have a backup plan? The Grand Elder found a seat on the city gate tower and sat down. That shouldn't be the case. Currently, they can't break through this situation. Night Sorrow is their obstacle, Huang Ling said. The Grand Elder nodded. They don't want Night Sorrow to fight. Actually, I don't want that either. If Night Sorrow can rise steadily, there's no need to fight like this. It's too much of a risk. During the first battle, the opponent used a self-destruct tactic. That means that they want to take down Night Sorrow at all costs. They know how important Night Sorrow is. The Heavenly Astral King and Huang Ling nodded. In the past, they did not understand Night Sorrow's situation. Now that they understood, they naturally understood the importance of Night Sorrow to the celestial realm. Right now, our morale is high. If we can fight, we'll persevere. If we can't and there's danger, we'll let those brats come back. We've profited. We can retreat at any time. Whether we fight or retreat, it's up to us, the Golden Dragon King, who had been sitting on the city gate tower, said. In the evening, there were 2 more battles. However, these 2 battles were very difficult. Lin Chuan and Long Jin were both injured. The 2 Devil-Winged Race members were extremely strong. Lin Chuan and Long Jin had won a Pyrrhic victory. Lin Chuan had been seriously injured by the other party's self-destruction. Long Jin's opponent was the same. He was good at soul attacks. When the soul attack affected Long Jin, he also self-destructed, making Long Jin dizzy. Long Jin's left arm was blown away. It was later picked up and reattached, but the injury was very serious. Listen up. We won't play tomorrow's challenges at other levels. Let's rest for a few days. I, Night Sorrow, will stand here. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. Glancing at Lin Chuan and Long Jin, Night Sorrow told the Devil-Winged Race about tomorrow's situation. As timid as a mouse. Mo Lu of the Devil-Winged Race scolded. Mo Lu had just passed by, and he had sent a group of combatants. Shut up. If you're not as timid as a mouse, then what about your first Emperor Tribulation cultivators? I'll also accept the second Emperor Tribulation cultivators. Do you dare to play? If you don't dare to play, then don't waste time. Night Sorrow replied. He felt that the Devil-Winged Race was very shameless. There were some things that both sides didn't want to talk about, but they just had to take advantage of the situation. Mo Zhantian left with the Devil-Winged Race. Lin Chuan and Long Jin didn't want to play, and Night Sorrow couldn't take them down. So, they could only retreat. After the Devil-Winged Race left, Night Sorrow's energy burst out and wrapped Lin Chuan and Long Jin up, returning to the top of the city gate of Tianhuang City. From tomorrow onwards, the 2 of you won't fight. Night Sorrow said to Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Leader, we're injured, but we can still fight after we recover. Long Jin said. Lin Chuan was also very anxious. Can't you see that the last 2 people they sent out are problematic? They've been specially strengthened and are very effective against you. If you continue to fight, you won't have a good time. Execute the order. Night Sorrow glared at Lin Chuan and Long Jin. Lin Chuan and Long Jin didn't say anything. They wanted to fight, but they had to execute Night Sorrow's order. Lin Chuan, Long Jin, you have to listen to Night Sorrow. In terms of strength and eyesight, you're much weaker than Night Sorrow. The last two people they sent out have been specially strengthened to counter you. Their purpose is to fight the two of you. The Grand Elder said. Then, Xiao Gu stood out and expressed his intention to fight. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao because he didn't know Xiao Gu's current strength. Noticing Night Sorrow's gaze, Lin Piaomiao nodded. Currently, Xiao Gu was an expert in the Imperial Emperor realm. Okay. Then Xiao Gu, come with me. We'll play with them for a while and let them know that no matter what level they're at, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm can do it. Night Sorrow didn't reject Xiao Gu's request to fight. He trusted Xiao Gu because he had a good foundation. After arranging things, Night Sorrow didn't leave immediately. He stood on top of the city gate and chatted with everyone. Night Sorrow confirmed that the Golden Dragon King's clone wasn't on Reincarnation Island. He didn't want Reincarnation Island to be destroyed after he left. The Golden Dragon King gave him an affirmative answer. Then, Night Sorrow asked about Mo Tianji's situation. Oh. Hearing Night Sorrow's question, the Grand Elder and Lin Piaomiao shook their heads because there was no news yet. Captain, you can release my soul seal later. I can sense where she is, Jun Xuanji, who was with the members of the god-slaying team, said. No, Xuanji, your soul can't be affected. You should cultivate first. When your soul is truly stable, you can release your soul seal and fight with Mo Tianji. That's the safest way. The Grand Elder shook his head and refused. That's right. She's stronger than you, so her soul can affect you. When your level is high enough, you'll be able to affect her, the Golden Dragon King said. It's not that complicated. Mo Tianji cultivates the Heartless Tao, but I don't. I can find someone I like and marry. What can she do to me? At that time, I'll be the one affecting her. We don't know who's stronger, Jun Xuanji said. Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and find someone to marry, Tianyu said. Chapter 2100. Tianyu was stunned. He didn't understand why Jun Xuanji was so angry. However, they were brothers and sisters who had fought together. Even if Jun Xuanji scolded him, he couldn't scold him back or say anything. There was an awkward silence. No one understood what was going on. Jun Xuanji took a deep breath and looked at Tianyu. Tianyu, thank you for going easy on me. I couldn't control my anger just now. I'm sorry. What are you saying? If you were in a bad mood, everyone would have gone easy on you. Tianyu shook his head. He didn't care about this at all. There was no such thing as losing face between brothers and sisters. Generous. It's my fortune to be brothers and sisters with all of you. Unlike some people, Jun Xuanji snorted as he patted Tianyu's shoulder. That one sentence and snort conveyed a lot of information. Datura and Lin Piaomiao looked at each other before turning their heads to the side. Only the Grand Elder and the 7 sect elders are on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. It's not appropriate. Everyone, continue chatting. Xiao Gu, let's go. Night Sorrow wrapped Xiao Gu with his energy and jumped off the Nirvana city gates. Then, he flew towards the array formation that Night Sorrow had set up. Ahem. Long Jin, Lin Chuan, the two of you recuperate first. We'll celebrate later. The Grand Elder coughed dryly to resolve the awkwardness. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that something was wrong. However, they couldn't say anything unless they were involved. When they reached the array formation, Night Sorrow put Xiao Gu down and wiped his forehead. There's no need to think. This matter has something to do with you, the Grand Elder's clone said. This. I don't really understand. Night Sorrow didn't know how to lie and didn't want to lie. Seeing Lu Qi's confusion, the Grand Elder told him what had happened. Lu Qi's clone was in Xingyu's city while his original body was here. Therefore, he didn't know what had happened on the Nirvana city gates. Night Sorrow, you're attracting bees. If you bring a good woman home, countless men will silently stab you in their hearts, Lu Qi said. Seventh Elder, you can't blame me for this. I've been avoiding it all this time, Night Sorrow explained helplessly. Ha! I'm just joking with you. There are some things that can't be explained clearly. Back when Elder Lin followed me to familiarize herself with the position of Discipline Elder, she was wavering between the path of emotions and the path of heartlessness. If you were that kind of person, then success would follow naturally. Would she need to waver? Therefore, I know what kind of person you are. However, this is also a sin. Lu Qi shook his head. The Grand Elder and Lu Qi didn't try to persuade him any further because Night Sorrow wasn't a child. He had a family and children, so he had his own judgment on certain matters. Oh right, let me confirm. Did your limitless attribute advance? He could not ask in front of others, but now that there were no outsiders, he naturally had to confirm. When I heard Lin Chuan's words, I was somewhat moved and advanced. Now, my reincarnation and primordial attributes are both at the advanced level. Night Sorrow nodded. The Grand Elder paced back and forth twice. Night Sorrow, let's go back. We're not fighting anymore. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, Grand Elder, why would you suddenly have such a thought? Night Sorrow looked at the Grand Elder in surprise. Because you are destined to rise. Now is not the time to take on such risks. The Grand Elder gave the reason. Night Sorrow smiled. Grand Elder, don't you understand? Resistance is my path. In the past 1,000 years, other than the period when I was unconscious, I was fighting. Comfort is not my path. If you don't let a bird fly, it might forget how to fly after a long time. Grand Elder, Night Sorrow is right. Comfort is mediocrity. The strong cannot look up to others in mediocrity. Lu Qi supported Night Sorrow's decision. Looking at Night Sorrow, the Grand Elder nodded. He was worried, not that he did not understand. Then, Night Sorrow asked about King Yewu's situation. He was very concerned about King Yewu. You don't have to worry about that. He is in seclusion. In the past, Mo Zhantian was not King Yewu's opponent. This time, Mo Zhantian suddenly became stronger because he took the final step. His original body and doppelganger's souls merged. King Yewu has not taken this step yet, so he is in seclusion. Once he passes this step, it will be easy to suppress him. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian both have one doppelganger, while King Yewu has two doppelganger. After the original body and doppelganger merge, it is obvious who is stronger. The Grand Elder explained King Yewu's situation. Then I am relieved. Night Sorrow nodded. It is just a matter of time. It may be long or short. The Grand Elder smiled. He knew that Night Sorrow was a kind person who respected his elders. This was also a kind of virtue. Mo Zhantian did not bring anyone to battle because he could not win the battle. Lin Chuan and Long Jin were not going to battle. He wanted to win once, but he could not even replenish his aura. Mo Lu, are they not here yet? Mo Zhantian asked. They will be here soon. The Outer Realm has sent Emperor Tribulation Cultivators and Emperor Tribulation Cultivators on the way. Our 100 Kings tribes geniuses are also coming out of seclusion. Mo Lu bowed. Mo Zhantian nodded. He was a little anxious because the situation had to be changed. With more reinforcements coming, he felt more at ease. However, he knew that since the reinforcements were here, they had to be strengthened specifically to deal with Night Sorrow and the other two. Thinking of this, Mo Zhantian was furious. He could think of ways to deal with Lin Chuan and Long Jin. He could train his subordinates to deal with them, but he could not do anything about Night Sorrow. In the battle with Night Sorrow, many Emperor Tribulation cultivators from the Demon Wings tribe had died. However, they still could not find out where Night Sorrow's weakness was. In other words, even with his soul unification realm cultivation base, he could not guide his elites to deal with Night Sorrow. After thinking for a while, Mo Zhantian could not come up with a good plan. He could only wait and see. As for the elites of the Demon Wings tribe, Mo Zhantian did not see them and did not know how strong they were. Two special cultivators came to Tianhuang City. They were brought by the Grand Elder. Both of them were wearing green robes with golden edges. They were here to look for Wufeng. They were from the Feng family of the Wind Realm. When he saw Wufeng, the elder's eyes lit up. Grand Elder. That's right. They are from our Feng family. Wufeng, they are from the Feng family of the Wind Realm. The Grand Elder said to Wufeng. Why are you called Wufeng? You are from the Feng family. How can you be called by this name? The middle-aged man was dissatisfied. It's not the wind attribute. It's the Feng from the edge. My father doesn't want me to reveal my edge and bring about a fatal disaster. Wufeng explained. Our Feng family's child can't reveal his edge. Ah! The middle-aged man roared in anger. Yun Shao, calm down. The elder patted the middle-aged man's shoulder. Chapter 2101. Let's find a place to talk, the Grand Elder said. He knew that there were still many details to be discussed. The elder nodded. He had many things to ask Wufeng. When Wufeng brought Song Ning and the Grand Elder out of Nirvana City's gate, Feng Yunxiao turned to look at Song Ning, an energy storm spinning in his eyes. This is my wife, Song Ning, Edgeless explained. Wife, very good. The energy storm in Feng Yunxiao's eyes disappeared and was replaced by calmness. When they arrived at the Grand Elder's small space world, Wufeng explained his situation. He didn't reject returning to his family because it wasn't his family that had abandoned him and his father. Second Master, the timeline matches. It should be during that great battle. My brother was injured and his soul had a problem. After that, he never returned to the family. Instead, he went to the 9 Yin tribe's territory. Feng Yunxiao looked at the elder man after hearing Wufeng's story. Wufeng is from the Feng family, that's for sure. However, there are many problems. Your brother is from the Feng family of the Wind Realm and has wind origin energy. The 9 Yin tribe should recognize him. Could it be that he didn't have wind origin energy when he arrived? Wufeng, do you remember your father's situation? The elder of the Feng family, Feng Yuexin, asked Wufeng. Wufeng thought for a moment and said, nothing special. Most of the time, he wasn't awake. The time he was awake was very short, and he didn't have wind origin energy. Your father didn't have wind origin energy when he arrived at the 9 Yin tribe's territory. Our Feng family doesn't have many members, and your father is the only missing member. Therefore, your background can't be wrong. According to seniority, you are my granduncle, and he is your uncle. When our Wind Realm fought against the Sea Serpent tribe, your father was injured and was swept into a space-time storm. His whereabouts were unknown. The family found a diviner to divine his whereabouts, but there was no result. The 9 Yin tribe's territory should have a method to avoid divination, Feng Yuexin said. The Grand Elder told us about the disappearance of the 9 Yin tribe. According to his deduction, their territory should have something like a spatial treasure. However, you don't have to worry. We won't let your father go. The 9 Yin tribe doesn't have the right to be arrogant in front of our Feng family. We can afford it, but we can't let go of the grievances you've suffered. Fortunately, you've settled down and started a family. Uncle is very pleased about this, Feng Yunxiao said. Thank you, Uncle. Wufeng bowed to Feng Yunxiao. You don't have to be so courteous with your uncle. You must know that you have a family. No one can bully our Feng family, Feng Yunxiao said. Wufeng, this time, your uncle and I are here mainly for you. Other than that, we have to contribute to the war between the 100 Races Alliance and the Demon-Winged Clan. We won't be leaving for the time being. We have a place to stay. Bring your wife and come with us. You've been wandering outside for many years. You have to learn about the people and matters of the Feng clan, as well as their cultivation techniques and absolute arts, Feng Yuxian said. Wu Feng understands. Wu Feng nodded. Second Master, I plan to investigate the Nine Yin clan, Feng Yunxiao said to Feng Yuxian. So many years have passed, there's no need to rush. The Nine Yin clan in the world of Nine Yin is very ambitious. They will definitely take action in this war, so there's no need to specifically look for them. Once they appear, we can use a secret method to locate their nest, Feng Yuxian said. After thinking for a while, Feng Yunxiao nodded and looked at Wu Feng. Your name might not be right, but this is your father's, my elder brother's, effort. Keep it. When you have children in the future, follow the Feng family's genealogy. Thank you, uncle. Wu Feng bowed to Feng Yunxiao. Niece-in-law, I wonder how your wedding went. Once this is over and we return to the Wind World, I'll have Wu Feng hold a proper wedding for you, Feng Yunxiao said to Zhang Ning. You're too polite, uncle. The wedding is just a formality. Living a good life is the most important. Also, our wedding was pretty good, Zhang Ning said. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation V. Night Sorrow learned from the Grand Elder's clone that the people from the Wu Feng family had come and that Wu Feng had returned to his family. He was happy for Wu Feng because he had experienced the feeling of not having a family and roots. He had also experienced the feeling of searching for a family and relatives. The Nine Yin family has made a big mess. If it was an ordinary matter, it might be able to pass. But this time, not only did Wu Feng and his son suffer humiliation, they also drowned Wu Feng's father. The Feng family will definitely not let this matter rest. The Feng family of the Wind World is not to be trifled with. They are extremely united and protective, the Grand Elder said. I shouldn't comment on other people's family matters, but the Nine Yin family has gone too far. They have no compassion at all and trampled on human relations, Night Sorrow said. The Nine Yin family has already confirmed that they won't stand on the same side as the 100 Races Alliance. Then, they will definitely collude with the demon-winged race of Heaven Wasteland. A war with them is inevitable, so the dispute is still to come. Night Sorrow, you have to remember that the war to come will be a war between races. As long as they oppose the Celestial Realm's 100 Races Alliance, there is no need to hold back, the Grand Elder reminded Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow cultivated. Lu Qi saw that Xiao Gu's weapon grade was average, so he asked the Grand Elder to help Xiao Gu refine a longsword. Xiao Gu and Lu Qi had a very good relationship. He cultivated Lu Qi's sword techniques and could be considered his master. It was just that there was no ceremony at the moment. While Xiao Gu was cultivating, Night Sorrow's cultivation did not stop. After breaking through the bottleneck of the peerless attribute, Night Sorrow's cultivation became much easier. His main body cultivated, while his clone cultivated in the 8 Dragon Cauldron's time acceleration. The reincarnation and primordial attributes were greatly improved from intermediate to advanced, allowing Night Sorrow's combat ability to soar. After 2 months of peace, the reinforcements of the demon-winged clan and the elites invited by Mo Zhantian arrived. They were all specially strengthened by Mo Zhantian. When he felt that it was about time, Mo Zhantian brought his people up to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge again. Now, he wanted to eliminate the obstacles in the path of the demon-winged clan's rise at all costs. When the demon-winged clan arrived, Lu Qi shook the 8 Dragon Cauldron and called out Night Sorrow, who was cultivating his combat ability, from within. Realm Lord, can Xiao Gu fight first this time? Xiao Gu asked after glancing at the demon-winged clan's Emperor. Yes, but you have to remember that this is a life-and-death battle. You have to kill your opponent as quickly as possible, Night Sorrow said to Xiao Gu. After cupping his fists at Night Sorrow, the Grand Elder, and Lu Qi, Xiao Gu held his long sword and walked to the front of the stronghold. Xiao Gu of Star Moon City is here. Which emperor will fight? Where did this trash come from? Get down. This time, we are going to fight Night Sorrow. Mo Lu looked at Xiao Gu with some annoyance. He knew that Mo Zhantian had made some arrangements to deal with night sorrow. Chapter 2102. Mo Lu wanted to say something but was stopped by Mo Zhantian's raised arm. Battle of the Monarchs. That's fine too. Which one of you will fight? Mo Zhantian looked at Xiao Gu and threw out a sentence. He had brought monarch-level cultivators today to observe the battle. Now, they could be put to good use. Hearing Mo Zhantian's words, the monarchs of the Demon Wing clan stood out in unison. There were more than 10 of them. This was the valiance of a battle clan. They didn't know the situation but they weren't afraid of death. Xiao Gu, kill one first. Then come back for a cup of tea before we fight. Night Sorrow instructed Xiao Gu. All right. Then I'll kill one and come back for tea. Xiao Gu held his sword and moved forward again, arriving at the center of the two groups. You go. Mo Zhantian pointed at one of the monarchs. I'll kill you. The Demon Wing clan's monarch flew out of the Demon Wing clan's camp and flew towards Xiao Gu. The Demon Wing clan's monarch's domain burst forth as he held his saber with both hands. Saber energy pulsed as he slashed at Xiao Gu. I don't know where you get the confidence to talk big. Xiao Gu didn't move. He raised his right hand and the scabbard of his sword flew into the sky. Then, he waved his sword and 3 sword chi flew out rapidly. The 3 sword chi shot out by Xiao Gu were like 3 lightning bolts that streaked across the void. When they appeared again, they were already in front of the Demon Wing clan's domain. One of the sword chi broke through the Demon Wing clan's domain. After that, Xiao Gu's remaining 2 sword chi shot towards the Demon Wing clan's monarch through the gap. Break! The Demon Wing clan's monarch's expression changed drastically as he roared and slashed at the sword chi with his saber. With a crisp sound, the Demon Wing clan's monarch's saber was broken by the sword chi. The 3rd sword chi arrived and directly pierced through the Demon Wing clan's monarch's forehead. Kill! Xiao Gu killed the Demon Wing clan's monarch with 1 move and 3 sword chi. Soaring sword energy. I didn't expect you to be Lu Qi's disciple. Very good. Mo Zhantian narrowed his eyes as he looked at Xiao Gu who was collecting the Demon Wing clan's monarch's storage ring. He Lu Qi. He knew that Xiao Gu was Lu Qi's ultimate skill. Not at the moment, but if he is willing, he can become one at any time. Lu Qi smiled. He was very satisfied with Xiao Gu's battle achievements. After collecting the Demon Wing Sovereign Emperor's storage ring, Xiao Gu returned to Night Sorrow's side. Domain Lord, Xiao Gu killed him. Clean and efficient, very good. Night Sorrow patted Xiao Gu's shoulder. The battle between the Imperial Emperors is over. It's Night Sorrow's turn. Do you have the guts to fight? A first Emperor Tribulation cultivator walked out from the Demon Wing clan's camp. He was the first sovereign Tribulation cultivator invited by the Demon Wing clan, Han Qingyun. He had also received pointers from Mo Zhantian. I didn't want to fight, but since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Come. Night Sorrow raised his blood chill and evil punishing spear and walked between the two groups. Die. Han Qingyun's body flashed as he waved his spear and flew towards Night Sorrow. As he flew, a white spear light appeared on his spear. The spear light became more and more solid. At the same time, he also launched a soul attack. The white soul power condensed into rings and flew towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow stood still. However, he used his soul power to activate the Green Lotus Jade Bangle. An emerald green halo rippled in all directions, blocking Han Qingyun's soul attack outside the domain. By the time Han Qingyun arrived in front of Yishang, Yishang had finished releasing his space-time Dao domain and slowed Han Qingyun down. Die! Han Qingyun's speed slowed down, but the energy in his spear was ready. He stabbed his spear towards Night Sorrow. Original 5 songs H/D Spacetime Realm. Night Sorrow used the spacetime realm and disappeared from the celestial realm. He went to a different space, causing Han Qingyun's attack to miss. After dodging Han Qingyun's attack, Night Sorrow's body flashed and appeared in the celestial realm again. He appeared beside Han Qingyun and used the reincarnation domain to suppress Han Qingyun. Within the reincarnation domain, the space-time collapsed and the energy of life and death rotated. A destructive storm swept out. Han Qingyun's face changed. It was difficult for him to defend against Night Sorrow's domain. While Han Qingyun was resisting the suppression of Yishang's domain, Yishang's blood Qilin evil-slaying spear appeared. He used a spear technique he had learned from a great elder. The spear carried the reincarnation domain as it pierced through Han Qingyun's protective domain. It spun and poured into Han Qingyun's forehead, shattering his divine sea. After killing Han Qingyun, Night Sorrow withdrew his reincarnation domain. Everything quieted down. The only difference was that Han Qingyun had no signs of life. He hung weakly on Night Sorrow's blood Qilin evil-slaying spear. After taking Han Qingyun's storage ring and spear, Night Sorrow kicked Han Qingyun's corpse back to the camp of the Demon Wing clan. You guys have studied my battle style for more than 10 times. I thought you guys would be able to target me. In the end, you guys didn't make any progress. Don't be so arrogant. Yin Ming Lu from the realm of 9 Yin is here to fight you. A man with a cold face stepped out. 9 Yin family. When he heard the words realm of 9 Yin, Night Sorrow's body trembled. This might be related to some of Wu Feng's grudges. Looks like you know quite a lot. Yin Ming Lu walked out of the camp of the Demon Wing clan. Be careful, Ming Lu, another man reminded him. He was the young master of the realm of 9 Yin, Yin Xiaotian. The 9 Yin family was the royal family of the realm of 9 Yin. The 9 Yin family in the celestial realm was just a gate for them. They ruled over everything in the realm of 9 Yin. After the Yin Song record walked out, Night Sorrow felt an uncomfortable aura. It was an evil aura. He had felt this aura when he was healing Wufeng. I don't care who you are. You're some bullsh** T human emperor. If you dare to block the development of the realm of 9 Yin, you must die. Yin Ming Lu looked at Night Sorrow coldly. You insulted the human emperor. You're already a dead man. No one can save you today. The Grand Elder, who was originally sitting, stood up. Mo Zhantian didn't say anything, but he cursed in his heart. Yin Ming Lu insulted the human emperor, and the Grand Elder had a reason to kill him. It had nothing to do with the gentleman's battle. Mo Zhantian's attack was a chaotic battle. While Mo Zhantian was cursing, Yin Ming Lu had already attacked. He released the grey realm around him and attacked Night Sorrow. He saw that Night Sorrow's realm was powerful, so he didn't enter the area of suppression of Night Sorrow's realm. He attacked from a distance and used energy to attack Night Sorrow. He planned to wait for the energy of the 9 Yin family to invade Night Sorrow's body and affect his status. Then, he would attack him in close combat. This was also the strategy that Mo Zhantian had taught him. After observing more than a dozen battles, Mo Zhantian realized that Night Sorrow's realm was powerful. His speed and close combat ability were also very strong. That was why he told Yin Ming Lu to attack from a distance to increase Night Sorrow's status. Only then would they have a chance to win. Yin Ming Lu knew Mo Zhantian's identity, so even if he was very confident, he still followed Mo Zhantian's strategy. Besides, he had seen Night Sorrow kill Han Qingyun with his own eyes. He was already cautious. The energy of the 9 Yin family was very strong. Night Sorrow's realm of destruction couldn't block it. His body was already corroded by the energy. Chapter 2103. It was very evil and domineering. When Night Sorrow realized how difficult it was to deal with the 9 Yin energy, he immediately activated the virtuous immortal body and enveloped the evil energy. In fact, even if he did not do that, the 9 Yin energy would not be able to break his body. Night Sorrow's body had entered the Emperor Tribulation realm with the space-time energy, and he also had the strength of the Emperor Tribulation realm. In other words, even if he stood there and let the Emperor Tribulation and the Emperor Tribulation cultivate, it would be very difficult to break his defense. It should be said that before the energy in his body was exhausted, it would not break his defense. After using the energy in his body to envelop the 9 yin energy, Night Sorrow was not in a hurry to expel it from his body. Instead, he continued to observe Yin Song Record's strength, because he could understand the world of 9 yin through Yin Song Record. The world of 9 yin was destined to become enemies with the 100 races of the celestial realm in the future. The battle continued. Night Sorrow moved his feet and dodged Yin Song Record's continuous slashes. However, as Yin Song Record continued to attack, more and more gray energy appeared in Night Sorrow's domain, and it continued to corrode Night Sorrow's body. After spinning and slashing 1,000 times at Night Sorrow, Yin Song Record raised his saber in the air. You don't know what's good for you. 1,000 slashes into one, kill. As Yin Song Record slashed down with his saber, the wind and clouds stirred up. The energy in the saber he had just sent out all gathered together and slashed at Night Sorrow with a whistling momentum. Powerful. Yin Song Record's saber was very powerful. At that moment, Night Sorrow's aura changed. He turned into a spear that stood between heaven and earth, and then his body became illusory. Yin Song Record's saber slashed at Night Sorrow's body, but there was no trace of blood. Night Sorrow used the space-time realm and entered the alternate space. Then, he appeared in the celestial realm again. Because he was so fast, it was difficult for anyone to discover the secret behind it. Yin Song Record did not understand what was going on when his saber missed. However, the battle could not stop, so his body flashed and charged at Night Sorrow. Samsara Domain. Night Sorrow's body trembled as the Samsara Dao domain charged forward, charging into Yin Ming Record's Dao domain and into Yin Ming Record's body. The high-grade Samsara Dao domain and energy were far from what Yin Ming Record could contend with. Instantly, the energy within Yin Ming Record's body turned chaotic. At the critical moment, the blood-chilling evil-slaying spear in Night Sorrow's right hand pierced through the void and directly entered Yin Cry Record's head, piercing through Yin Cry Record's divine sea and shattering it. Not bad, but you don't have the right to boast that you can kill me. Night Sorrow put away the saber and storage ring. He didn't succeed in killing you, but you're also crippled. The 9 yin energy entered your body. Even if you survive, your meridians will be destroyed, and your cultivation will be gone. Yin Xiaotian stood up. Oh. It's that serious. I didn't even notice it. Night Sorrow turned around and walked back to Tianhuang City's camp. As he waved his left arm, a gray energy appeared in the air. Then, Night Sorrow clenched his left hand, and the energy was compressed in his palm by Night Sorrow before he threw it into a bottle. Yin Xiaotian was stunned. Yin Xiaotian was stunned for a moment. He naturally recognized that the ball of energy was the 9 yin energy that Yin Song Record had injected into Night Sorrow's body. You think you can trick me? You're still too naive, but I'm certain of the 9 yin family's status in the world of 9 yin. Night Sorrow turned around and cast a glance at Yin Xiaotian. Damn you. I'll definitely kill you. Yin Xiaotian felt a little embarrassed after being scolded by Night Sorrow. That's what he said just now. Night Sorrow replied and returned to his camp. Then, he lowered his head and thought about the characteristics of the 9 yin family's energy. He no longer paid attention to anyone else. The Imperial Tribulation cultivators from the Demon Wing clan's camp kept roaring and taunting him, but Night Sorrow ignored them. He was in a state of cultivation. The Grand Elder waved his arm, and an energy barrier appeared, blocking the Demon Wing clan's harassment of Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's main body and his clone studied the energy at the same time. He understood that the 9 yin energy was also a combination of energy. It was the extreme yin side of the 7 ordinary elements, and when combined with the yin side of the death and space elements, it was the 9 yin energy. All the elements had 2 sides. Wind had extreme yin wind and extreme yang wind. Fire had extreme yin flames and extreme yang flames. In the world of 9 yin, the 9 yin family combined the negative elements of the 9 elements to form the extremely evil 9 yin energy. This was also the reason why Wufeng was still troubled by the evil yin energy even after becoming a monarch. If it wasn't for Night Sorrow's power of virtue, he wouldn't have been able to recover. After studying it for a while, Night Sorrow found that it was very helpful to him, so he began to cultivate. This cultivation lasted for half a month. His main body and his clone accelerated their cultivation for half a month. During this half a month, Night Sorrow was in a state of enlightenment. When he woke up from his state of enlightenment, he felt pretty good. The limitless attribute required a combination of hardness and gentleness, as well as the coexistence of yin and yang. After understanding the 9 yin energy, Night Sorrow's limitless attribute directly increased by 10%. His other precept domains also increased by quite a bit. Ha! Very good, this is the kind of battle I need. Who wants to fight? Let's fight again. Night Sorrow walked out of the camp with the blood Qilin evil-slaying spear in his right hand. At this time, the Grand Elder also withdrew the barrier. Mo Zhantian waved his hand, stopping his subordinates from accepting the challenge. He found that Night Sorrow had advanced again. If he didn't make arrangements, sending more people would die. Domain Lord, I've killed 7 people in the past few days, Xiaogu said from behind Night Sorrow. Very good. If they don't fight, I'll send them back. If they want to fight but don't have the courage, they won't be able to do anything. Remember, if they're afraid today, they won't be able to straighten their backs in front of you in the future. Look carefully, they're all trash. Every single one of them is trash. Night Sorrow turned around and pointed at the devil-winged clan members one by one. Finally, he pointed at Mo Zhantian. Brat, you dare. Mo Zhantian roared at Night Sorrow. You think I don't dare to talk to you? Tianhuang City is right in front of you, but you don't dare to attack. They're all trash, and you're a big piece of trash. Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of Mo Zhantian at all. Maybe he's right. Tianhuang City is right there. If you want to prove something, then go ahead and attack. Night Sorrow, let's go back. The Grand Elder pulled Night Sorrow back to the camp. He was also worried that Mo Zhantian would suddenly attack. No, maybe. He's a big piece of trash. At this time, an energy body appeared above the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. It was King Yewu. At this time, King Yewu was extremely domineering. Although he was an energy body, the energy waves on his body were constantly rippling, repelling the Nirvana storm. /3GH version Z. Looking at King Yewu's figure, Mo Zhantian's right hand loosened and tightened, wavering between fighting and not fighting. Don't suppress it. If you want to fight, you can fight anytime. Ha! Big piece of trash, that's a good name. It suits you. King Yewu laughed. Yewu, do you think you'll win for sure? Then you're wrong. Today, I won't fight you, not because I'm afraid of you, but because I'm not strong enough. Mo Zhantian suppressed his desire to fight. He really wanted to fight, but the situation didn't allow it.